and so 9:37 yasa trase di agode mu nsam ebe mo kopem se dumienu ebebo na enche be kwa woni na afia di amene nsam no ahye dwumadie na se edi amamo ansane abafie na yabehwe enra under 17 Black Starlet na nyasam kitokra awo bi man so Morocco ahunsam no awan ni na yebedi san komo no abo eye dwumadie so yeah live our YouTube Insha TV mesrawo oba na wa subscribe channel na dia mame uwi anado message no akan ye comment ne na ye ba ye kan message no awodo amade aba dwumadie so enso edi amamo enano pay ebra ya tenase na ye did the Friday edition of Insha Digital Passport dwumadie no enso edi ebramu na enra na nyasem keto La Liga game koso our Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid, and then Real Oviedo and the boy. Game economy and Real Madrid shame you know Emma Oviedo for no amo intimi ante. Nebra Kylian Mbappe ever game in fact. Real Madrid fans are no more Santiago Bernabeu. Omuhura Brent and Papa. Omuhuruna. Now after the game, I ran to the semi dia tuja. Van in semi out here. Now it was as Kylian Mbappe no. They say I was so free Real Madrid and what exactly is going on na anybody Real Madrid don come up and to them young comrade na yam fans me na no emfa embramo Didier Deschamps oko France on the national team coach na enra on so the squad or the Copa World Cup no e dia ba and so hunsam awaha Julian Alvarez the transfer hunsam and so awaha ni na Koba na Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes also already declared ni dia Aquano Sankoba Manchester Babuano Mumzo because as our now a Manchester player and so Koba na yabidin komo abo aye dwumadie so na yabefia sare medikan akano enra o Morocco Ghana under 17 African Cup of Nations no and started your journey yani Algeria and the boy in fact Ghana 4 minutes na near the first goal through Abrante Jao Gavi Robinho and Sanchez second goal but didn't them no Algeria for no and so better can ma ye ball 2-2 and some more Sanso and if in there copy next week ye hwanimu se court Carlos Grace and so be naming the provisional squad Black Stars provisional squad or the ebekwa kobo the 2026 World Cup and so ebitimi ato eye edwan so na and so be expectations no to say I want some more hani nyina no I be this sound come no abo eye afie enti I want some no na edi amamo in 4.5 na nyame adoma ochina edna dwumadie na aka ho asama Insha FM fufu party Sokoban Fatilo. Good morning Richardo na what to say me adomo na so e de nyame aseme ho ye nyame adoma ochina ene say mi nidi enidi kura as a oboboka da bi fu de hu bedi enidi o ma oyemu na o bi ma oyemu ye kama so oyemu na o na what did God of course enti nyame adoma ochina adna fufu party no ye de hihye so awo nhire free manim ha ya yo tech ya ulu tech I top high everyone say bomb I jana say bomb so otra bomb so kwa dey o kwa unti dey so aka chemate ni say obesu obi chef me wono we see anu atwa ni maba of course anu ato ayo akama ochina no you expect to see a bit me feeding nipa be 1500 hey oh yeah 1500 no say people doso and am so doso ye bezo bia be di aduane ni bi enti ochina nyame adoma baby a wo bia faka na branch FM anim ha na ochina no interestingly o say the aye ni na sometimes we won't say be presenters ni o baby ni edidi na bia ba ochina ni de ni e ka bom eto bom ochina ni de o be ba na metini panim na metwam fufu di nyasem kitokra ti e he obi anim say nyame adoma ochina no obeba. Then secondly rep your jersey. Now say the echo Nasco rep your jersey. Nasco Insha FM rep your jersey. We no obo onya koma na ese nche wade o. Okay. Ye ma wo phone, ye ma wo souvenirs, ye ma wo TV from Nasco. Nyame adoma 30th May
Rapid just win no. UEFA Champions League final. January about them. SG Mall in Chef Machia. Na Champions League time na 4 p.m.
Okay.
Anopa du ba kuna na dwuma de na fiase ye so jamano na activations na chawade ko pem se for be de ebebo.
Okay.
O ba so Jesse bra. Na score Rapid Jesse. Nyame about 30th of May 2026.
Samensiamo ya.
UEFA Champions League final.
SG Mall ha na edi dwumade na.
Ebeye butu se bontuku no.
Enti ye twen sa de fro bia, show Jesse keke. Na bra, Jesse na wo hyade aba no. Awba ni JP wo ho. Ubia
of course.
At the account and Nasco and at the HO. Enti I know so etimi at the Amativo. Yenina no Sonafi Yamfa Enko Amnenamra.
Dachi and Obiara and we are seeing now Dania computer. The computer you are a crowd day. So wouldn't practical skills mapa send your Uniat Practical Institute AEDA. We are Kechiro. Men's Emre. Any Sikawo Suku Biara Honkeke. Conject practical IT skill training. Our Uniat Practical. Nabo Dachi Mobile. Singing.
We could do Tito Villanova 100 points now. We don't make a choice. Alaves for maybe I don't more than you
because no that relegation.
Yeah, or the relegation zone more and reach Barcelona. I think in the last 3 or 4 times or more winning Spanish La Liga before the season in bend. You know, say Ebani say Biana. The next match need us all draw no Lucy. Genuine, me very confident say Alaves for a moment here they can claim they can get something out of the game and they did. But you can't fall Barcelona. Yes, all you know why every other thing is miscellaneous. It's I think say for yesterday was a good win for them. And one thing was confirmed in the City Crystal Palace game, and it's the fact say for another season, Josep Guardiola in a league will not finish below 3rd place. We say 12 times were the first, 2 times were the second, 2 times another second, another third. It say Pep year Juma no si for no year Juma. Edding. Season over below 3rd. That is serious record.
League in bed too much is not
yeah.
And also say where I obia goal difference now.
Yeah. City
have signed Arsenal by 1.
Yeah.
If say me correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm checking on her because and I said City share 3, right?
Share 3 goals.
Yep.
City was 75 goals. Arsenal 68 goals. Arsenal conceded 26. City are conceded 35.
So goal difference,
Yeah.
City near 43.
Yeah.
And Arsenal near 42.
Exactly.
Okay.
That separation it makes it very close. Then you come down to the games that have been left to play. Arsenal match Saka. Arsenal Burnley they say Agbena.
Arsenal Bohum.
Arsenal Bohum on Burnley. Burnley relegated.
Oh, and yeah. Mon from Arsenal.
Is the first at 3 points. Then Arsenal last match on the Crystal Palace away at the Selhurst Park. Which a bit do no. Arsenal 2 matches when you're 6 points away. For me, Arsenal won the league. Arsenal 2 matches now can. Or Burnley. Burnley is relegated. When you look at Crystal Palace, who could have stand in front of them and prevented them from winning the league now? It's Crystal Palace are doing now Conference League. So now make catch you. Oliver Glasner say he will not make anybody a favor. But then again, he focus on Conference League. So, Oba and Wababa Beje a trophy here they Crystal Palace for. He would want to give them European trophy. And they are playing against a side that they can beat in Rayo Vallecano. It's not going to be easy. But they can beat Rayo in the final. So the focus for Crystal Palace is going to be in the Conference League final. Rather than focusing on game relegation. So in my opinion, and given that Arsenal for have faced this last part of the season, Rich, they are going to win those games, no? And I think that they will get a 6 points now to be able to go into it and then get themselves the English Premier League title. And by then, Manchester City will come in and then take our City will 2-3 games. City weekend way ever against Chelsea in the English FA Cup. And only the infant chain. But in the league or against Bournemouth away. Antonio Ariola
stubborn side.
Yes, Rich, and I wish table now. Bournemouth Europa. either so betting about Conference League, Europa League, even Champions League, betting qualify, depending on what happens at Aston Villa and Freiburg in the Europa League final and where Aston Villa finishes. So game no can't be tricky for City away at the Vitality. Then the last game is going to be against Aston Villa. The last game is going to be
because the 2 games in our City Babon, very tricky games.
Yeah.
Unai me head table no.
Other fifth is a actually table no so. Other fifth.
So it means that on also at least on your Champions League.
Yes.
It is on your points now. Let me kushino.
Be secure no so about Champions League. Be person be train. Now go Europa League final with Freiburg now and Korea next one miss out on Champions League. So they would want to finish it in the league. So Man City have really crucial games, which
Arsenal League.
Yeah, and now so people who say City for now have 10 focus to the FA Cup Omni Chelsea Beba, which go back and look at yesterday's game Omni Crystal Palace a boy, you know. And no winning by 3-0, right? But then look at the starting lineup of City, the boy. Matthias Nunes, Abdelkader Kosinov, Mark Gay, Josko Guardiola, Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, Ryan Nori, Savinho, Semenyo, and Marmouche. You can count as many as 5 players on your regular starters or team. Phil Foden this season has not been a starter. Omar Marmouche has been on the bench. Omar Ryan Nori same. Abranti Efreno, Savinho same. And then even Josko Guardiola who has been injured. Now the focus of Manchester City has turned, in my opinion, to the English FA Cup because for Rodri, Rodri Kram Mapak not Rodri Tiffy, or stay Haaland, or stay Czech, or stay all the important players that he will need for the big game against Chelsea. It's him say for the Premier League, immediately West Ham could not do them a favor. So you need to turn attention to the FA Cup, especially because Chelsea are one whole week resting and preparing for the game. Whilst for them, they had to play in midweek and they hope to go and play in some match. And after the game, Pepe say Osha, the players no travel and so call London, every Manchester, to Kwanya the players they be break and they have to focus on the English FA Cup. They would want to win it. Person be winning FA Cup. Na English crowd at least a double England the Omaji in his final season. What may look like his final season or no in my opinion, I do agree with you to say Obana English League English Premier League party Arsenal are gone. I don't see how it's going to turn anyhow around for them our English Premier League. I think that they are going to go on and then go and win it. Now so coaches in Sengsemia Rich Anope yes Chelsea for no enya a green light on a branch of Jabi Alonso. Now a Kamia Koye say Alonso is going to get a clean sweep to the Chelsea job because Omojiri say he fits the criteria. But me wasemba koka. Whether it is Alonso, whether it is Areola, whether it is Marco Silva, which my campaign, I'll say it again. Whoever becomes the Chelsea manager, Chelsea for no wasudi bakope. They have one responsibility. So omoyama say ni pano. And yes, no matter who becomes the coach, it won't work out.
I know you had it.
Nipo ba be fair juma no. Who say mama starting to say Abraham Maresca be fair juma no mo engineering di. And of course he ain't engineering di because his body of work was not enough to give him the keys to Chelsea and say that okay, who be the key figure or rebuild him. Which uni ma dey back. Say players on mobile board. E show mu trim say manager na or coach no. Or no every footballing decision be on no take care. I am adding for them to disrespect that manager. Say players number one. As you dream say the sporting directors and the owners listen to the manager. I am adding for them say omudi enu amon sem kakrebe coach in Afa. Now look at even Chelsea and look at Madrid. Immediately when the Madrid players knew that for them, Florentino Perez will go fully for the players. You know, Madrid players if they don't agree with who coach now, they can easily turn up on you. Now it is very very important. Maresca Bayano. Not only enough to show that Chelsea can give him the keys, Leicester City and all of those things. But with time, he had gotten to the point where Chelsea should have given him 100% or maybe 80% autonomy in a Jumana no and Chelsea for one. Which baby akuna babedruno. Who whoever Chelsea appoint as manager, they should be 100% sure, say at least within the pool of managers that are available, no, only the best. Because Manchester United leaning towards keeping Michael Carrick. Liverpool wants to keep Anna Slot. Madrid most likely are going to go for Jose Mourinho as it is clear. So in terms of managerial availability, no, it looks as if Xabi Alonso is the main guy that can get the Chelsea job. Which some of the manner they have to give him 100% support and then give him the keys to build a Stanford Bridge. So I can't give him the keys. What do I mean? Which sporting director cannot make decisions alone or more power in decision making in terms of player purchasing and recruitment than the coach. Say you say player we all bano. And Joe Shields than any mono and a Joe Shields and I overrule coach no and the number Debbie. Because in here maybe one man Alonso Kita rich, it is better as compared to when Maresca was coming. In case Alonso you better cool than Maresca. It is better as compared to when Maresca was coming. Abraham Maresca ebano. Not only the experience of Alonso. It's almost experience. No. Now the experience boss has been checked. Yes, one coaching Madrid 4 years. Or coaching Bayern for Leverkusen for 2 seasons. And then coaching Madrid for almost half a season. But in all of that, the results are also good. Which in terms of tactical adaptability, or bossing and Maresca bon nebi omunya positional play. However, onono adjust kakra. Onya as predictable as you call Maresca to be. Again, Rich, set personality, aura, experience as a player, baby why you drew the laurels. See a Bonnie Ding Xabi Alonso right now. What he represents, Xabi has it too. But the most important, and if Chelsea can give him good amount of say in the running of the club, which someone is I'm telling you, another season will come. Chelsea fans will cry. Chelsea fans will say that your club and they say it is because in as much say in football you can't give a coach total autonomy. You need to at least get them involved at least in decision making.
But when you say Dana Okas asked in the Champions, that was the situation at Chelsea. No? Yeah. I was like, really? Say sporting directors at the players name bar.
Yeah.
Who coach, who bet me a cabinet, but the final decision and you're almost sporting directors. And that's wrong.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, player na yakofan nabano. Of course, when you say they are sporting directors, omo numbers. Yeah. The data is there. Omo puli data no. Omo share bibia ansana. Omo the player and number. But you see, I don't say me can't ni di goalkeeper so nkomo. And then I can say, goalkeeper bi honma. Ebia optis no. It's good. Oni born a chain ya but your name kitin bi we a goalkeeper trainer no. And so pay in the goalkeeper. Ebia sa goalkeeper no ni bi.
Yeah, of course.
And you might think so any goalkeeper trainer no go onya de. But some 1 or 2 year maybe and son who's a brand to me we project na me no. So what I'm saying is that so your sporting director with all numbers data be pulling at the end no at the end of the day a coach in the equation.
Of course. We need to mass at the end a day match Chelsea for no money. We say all across Europe. It is difficult for me to pinpoint a club or multi-sporting director structure. Chelsea Penner was in the assistants now off the top of my head. So okay, let me know. But Oko Barcelona is Deco. Oko what's the name? Liverpool. They've gone back to the people that they knew already. Manchester United, Wilcox more, but it is not sporting directors be. You go back to Manchester City. Chelsea, you're about 5.
Hey,
yeah.
And I saw them 2 players.
Chelsea were apart from the regular trainer you know, almost Shields, almost Wayne Stanley, almost one other guy. No, I'm saying Sam Jewell, no one other guy, almost 5.
Wow.
Almost co-sporting directors. And I quite say, the amount and who can say rich clubs be to say RB Monia, they are no more multiple sporting directors. No, I know almost technical director, you're munina boss.
Yeah.
It's who coach sporting directors, the more you then the reports that come out of sporting director. Then the sporting director now goes to the coach
and brief him.
Then he said, "Oh, wait a minute, in film. Edia when Subambi I don't know call down madam for coach be say boy I thought be more dey kakra. Nti dey odimbo no data na ye but adibo dey say need data. Nti yen for no tonchen. Chelsea don't have a technical director that will brief Maresca or whoever the coach is. He said if Chelsea will go with this, they need a technical director. or they need to promote one of them as a technical director who will deal directly with the coach. The coach is given a proper autonomy in building of the squad. Which and yes, oh the Obeka Semekai. We will go through the season again. Chelsea boys, many bedrooms are still among Chelsea match.
Because I had wrong coffee. Me one thing I've seen in football and they say South Sporting directors near the Nubo no are affiliated to a particular agency.
Most of them they are.
And to be anytime you are not for players free agents or not, then cut. You know, on Jane carbon hole. The cat no Benjani.
Say one J cat crana for most of these sporting directors or several player an interest. In the end, you would want the player to get good things on them. Another clear cut example, which Oko Bastuna, Pini Zahavi, or the agent of Hansi Flick and the agent of Robert Lewandowski.
So you see?
So regardless of anything, there is a possibility that Pini Zahavi would want his two clients to work together. Obianka said that is what is going on. But agents obviously are representing the interest of these players, and of course they would want them to be successful, baby Omobo. And new to Chelsea needs a technical director who becomes a superior to all of these things. Richna, never say me bisau. Are you part of the school of thought of Carrick in or Carrick out?
Question will be some da. I'm catch you say. Carrick buy no. Yamin looking why juma. Why juma pa. But I think na juma na why you need na. To me, me denka sen company for beti pa. Yaman 1 year bi na hwade.
Another 1 year. Yeah. I say Carrick, when you say Carrick Bano, story be by say Carrick so no credit you on pen a long term. Over so be
say doing a long term open.
Say sound only the mo. Be the kamu. I say the be moms open short term. Short term say
only say there be ya be say be pam be win the game. Match was way how much you lose only be pam.
Right, I think that it is only right off the back of the results at Carrick Kenyano. Say obitimi work which again we United near one shiny already be baby and a club never. Sure. The team was somewhere around 15 this season. Saturday not Chelsea the third. It is a string of results, if not for nothing. Me idea come here very confident with Michael Carrick as a coach is the fact that his backroom staff do compliment him. Okay. Steve Holland for one, very much experienced with the Chelsea team. And he knows the terrain, work with the English national team. Okay. And ASI experience no the Abba. And it's important to keep Michael Carrick at least for the next half of the season. Not watch build a team for him. Let's see preseason. Which my fancy now. Maybe I question. Florentino Perez say a preseason in Tina Madrid Breno. See you to preseason and a Perez and go. So Perez Madrid are more preseason. Preseason. Your first one and guys no FR11 odds there, but Oko 50 man for no social media and those albums a coach in your go on and then you may Spanish La Liga games or until the young Kubi.
Okay. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Now to say Oku partner we need to now as a we know.
Come which man could do Tito Villanova 100 points now.
In fact.
We don't make a choice Alaves for. Maybe I don't more than you
because I'm the relegation.
Yeah. Or the relegation zone more and reach Barcelona. I think in the last 3 or 4 times or more we need Spanish La Liga before the season in bend. Say Ebani say Biana. The next match need us all draw no Lucy. Genuine me very confident say Alaves for a moment here they can get something out of the game and they did. But you can't fall Barcelona. Yes or you know why.
Sir, who share matches now or English Premier League in the the least City bet me here in the run in and I say at least in the home games in the overshining enti enyam say Enra they were able to beat Crystal Palace enyam at all. And one thing Emma win no munya you know it dise oka ho asem eye Pep ebo sa game no knowing say a very crucial but still not a need for Saturday FA Cup final against Chelsea. Until there were a lot of rotations our team even with the formation.
the key players be say Ellen Haaland mo, Jeremy Doku mo, Ryan Cherki mo, all had to sit on the bench. Wambo any of Nico Gonzalez and I say Rodrigo Cascante or Munina no more bench. And he is preparing the team not for the bigger match. But when you crucial and more opportunity needed to win, and they got the job done. I am the pan say Antoine Semenyo is back on the scoring sheet. When say both season now we are a forward in the modern game. You are required to score goals. Say goals in a dry up now or confidence go. And maybe you could clearly see say a hard brand here no. Ama only confidence be because Oba from the way he was scoring goals almost every game no was. Enti for class start so munya doubts whether the way a Pep is Pep consistency na they be a demand the top level performances you know and we are na bambebu or Semenyo wenche. Enti Enra goal no share was very very good for Onuan Kasane personal confidence and the way on it City team no connecti. It wasn't surprising City won. They keep up the pressure on Club FN Arsenal in the run in. No? Look, and I watched the Coppa Italia final on my phone, and the conclusion is that Inter is the best team on the Italian soil. The way they dominated Lazio for them was just you could clearly see there was only one team able to just win the Coppa Italia, no? And it was Team FN Inter Milan. Now, Mehus and Kofo are trying to write the Christian Chivu story more. But Rich, Mijidi say on Christian Chivu story, no? Because of hindsight of Anna Slots, Intino, Yenchen Kakra.
Okay.
Yenchen Kakra. Didn't you make us say? Mijidi say Chivu is still benefiting from Inzaghi. Team or building here. How consistent that team has been put together for a very, very long time. On say yes, Barcelona pe Bastoni. Me sure say players be say Asabi more will be thinking say they are too old. They must give room for other people to come in. I don't know how long players say Hakan Çalhanoğlu is still going to stay at Inter. Mkhitaryan more will think, look, Yabebo Branamo, we are GBB or say GBA. We've knocked the doors of the Champions League final twice. It's time to leave. Even Lautaro Martinez say on a big deal from any big club here, he may think Wasum Inter enough, he will want to move on. The ambassador making say season way by we are. I believe the next season Inter are going to see a sort of transition be. And that is what Anna Slot went through. Emma exposing with Liverpool no. Christian Chivu. It's me Emma players be caught who are key players of this current Inter team call. Now it's me right within a recruitment, within a backroom staff and a sporting director having Zanetimo. Now Otimisa dominating Italian football bioma. Which that is where Mr. Tiajatum say he is what they mentioning now Onyano. But in pampering there, I think that relatively the team was built by Inzaghi. They are so consistent with the way in that Inzaghi and he's still benefiting from Saudi. But it doesn't take away say Obe Bona Basso say he has done a very, very good job since Obe Esho Inter. Very, very disappointing. Say, Bodo, you film in the Champions League, but domestically, there, super performance. Now, my last pick will be Enrichi when David Austin ever reported said Alonso has been put on the Chelsea list. Say coaches are more considered. Now Alonso is on the list, and the consideration, unwedding, even though or are they say nothing has been decided yet. Now, Rich, saying I mean who Alonso story no. Time Alonso here and I can say Obe free Bayern for Leverkusen. There were a lot of teams I know Mupeno, but Yomunina to chain and only bring in Real Madrid and Liverpool.
Teams are not needing answer about that.
Yes. Now, Rich, Alonso decided to take the higher risk among the two teams because me sure se me kwa me ya la me Ghana enima Alonso enim chi me bebre say senka oko Liverpool benya abotre kakra de amana dance oko Real Madrid enuntina on the ato an slot this season you know still Liverpool for ne see o ye be man mre Liverpool was hard you know but Alonso was so like na ne wish kese say Real Madrid the juma no as a Spaniard you don't say no to them when they come. And even though he knew the risk level was through the brain, he decided to go for it rather. Only the benefit of hindsight to say enke na who they turn Real Madrid in there and come to Liverpool. But say ordinary so a share sa to animo no. E say ni mi enu nyina ya habo no. Wako faili wa Real Madrid. And the Liverpool job have been given to someone, even with a season and the career, so it's not even available for him to go and take. Now, the argument made for Alonso say, Obeya there with Chelsea, no, and they said at Chelsea, Omubemano, the opportunity, say Obe or the team be senior no penal. Send Unya or Bayern for Leverkusen now after alternate team no into a very very winnable team no. So for instance, Obian himself Xabi Alonso, the time at Bayern for Leverkusen was a three-back coach meboa. Enti people are saying oh Oba Chelsea Obenya the freedom to do the three-back no with Chelsea and it's Onya sa freedom no dia. Based on the year of Bayern for Leverkusen, who say with time he can build a very, very formidable team. Many sound funny agent. But maybe in one of me who say, okay, Rich, Liam, say no Strasbourg no see a three-back coach. I didn't know about Chelsea no. When to me for the freedom of say Chelsea, I'm why the opposite. I'm about three-back in Chelsea. What was the limitation? Now, more three back straight away. Is it because Oba in the middle of the season and probably didn't want to change much? Yes, into Chayama. So continue holding forth nana your boss season year. Then he takes them to preseason and tell them said this is how I really want to play. May travel from preseason near their career next season. Say if that is the caveat for the entire Liam and me implemented there against the backdrop say Obakayama come of your harder say it is a fact coming from Maza say even when Xabi Alonso no akwaje Real Madrid ejubano he proposed to them say senko nyaya enkomo FIFA club world cup nembra ansara was start ejumano mo say derby obeji dia Jennifer Cobra and when you the benefit of preseason even with Real Madrid. And with Sadia na eto no ntino Rich menye so says Xabi Alonso will rush into a job on your preseason. Look, I believe he's still got something to offer football at the highest level. Xabi Alonso yes uncle for now they were good as players and even for Momu playing this you could clearly understand what the footballer sepa on your time with him. Now on your opportunity to build on Wakasana dia, obetimi a very very good job at Chelsea, senior or Bayern for Leverkusen. Now, Rich, the irony of assembly which is very very trivial. Unim se offer Nancy coaches at Chelsea for more. Bakopa or buy Chelsea supporters from beginning to so free or man penasem da. Rafa Benitez. And Omasem Yinane say, time I know coaching Liverpool, no, the way I not so aggressive on Chelsea, no. I'm a man pen asem that until Munim Gentia Yakofa Chelsea Jumamano. The irony is that Saturday no more can once no. Nasabi Alonso Bomber Rafa Benitez Liverpool. No. Yes, Xabi Alonso himself as a player there, he has always been gentle on Kasa Chichiu, on Kabibi ebe instigating war and I say conflict inti ni hu son say obeba. But the fact of the matter they say, Rich, is minini trimu there. But I suspect after what he did with Tima Efreno, by no for Leverkusen, you know, the top 2 jobs based on affiliation would have been Real Madrid and Liverpool. But now probably you have to settle for Tima. Your friend Chelsea. Yes, we hear Alonso free one. So one consideration is Areola. Rich, how different now Areola be from Maresca, Liam, Graham Potter. I'm talking about coaches. Omo coach English Premier League teams be. Na watch a huge potential. Say, oh, you good. Now based on that, Chelsea akofana ba. After you buy into the bigger shoes, you know. The consistency with which, because at Bournemouth, which say Areola caught 5 games. Now out of 5 games, no winning 3. Now obo draw 1, no lose 1. It is okay.
Oh, a Bournemouth.
But who the Chelsea?
A result oriented.
They will not be okay. They will not. And see, Yahumida, I'm not saying he's not a good coach. Very, very good coach. And he has been very, very consistent with the way the team's airborne. And one thing you the English media don't come with about him say Emma needs to Chelsea job now is so washa or building a bomb of team no season to then he brings new players and you still see Bournemouth play the same way they play, still remain competitive. It's almost okay at Chelsea now. They always want to bring in new Emkra, give them the opportunity to play, you know. He will do a very, very good job because or a consistent with Sadia no our Bournemouth. I don't take anything away from him, but I think it's between Ono and Xabi Alonso, which the trend analysis in favor no Ebe Andoni Areola. And Xabi Alonso there, he's just waiting for another big opportunity to remind and comfort the kind of coach. Marco Silva is not really on the list, and they are only really on the list. And they say, Martin said there's a job offer for him at Benfica.
Okay.
Sami Real Madrid asati.
Tasa wobunna so akwati pen adom aya 1-1 na tasa total wabrekwana tasa jeru na bobo kono womuso tinafie ni Real Sociedad womuso apo aya 1-1 eho sa game na tasa enyaksam kwetu akra na game na tasa obia ehwanim no edo ye eno adampato Madrid game tasa no so etota womuni Real Oviedo na wansa na no da Madrid nsansem tasa etotom no obia nim se anya hwekwa de ene eno Madrid bedi ntopato Madrid ati kwasi sibomo enso ebo ya kan samienu wa bra mo so entimante anatese enya sam koto akra no de totwa awoduma de so a ena no pe make che kakra enso edi adana ohedewa ene man so esikwa boys ni ya aduma ye pa na wanse sibo pra we kwa na ya suspense na sibo enya enti enya de sesa game no kwasi sibo so abobi eno ya Madrid game eno ada etotwa La Liga ena no pe make che adiama ene game ba ko so beba so eno ya Premier League game etotwa anu ya Aston Villa bobo kwenene enumene no so mo ni Liverpool ana chasem edisi into the Liverpool no in the terms on back UEFA Champions League in next season wo mu mienu nyina acha omo predendende entani a big game abetota ene enumene chasem na no pe no me katire ediama away from that na mami ni nkoma kakra na World Cup na ya ba ne sa eti se midi World Cup on nkoma kakra anu adana the France national team de Les Blues wo mu so di omo finance squad na de ba FIFA ese
we bet me the provisional one and the about preliminary one and we 55 man squad we bet the candy no about san no about beteto not as all the final one so at me about did they do something for those who near that year and you final about say we bet me about and say went to me more no players in a bonus so and he what in the final one and swap and he more my training YouTube on the Mubenya players in Obia but for the sake of more which radio no my missus is so far more and your goalkeepers no was what the goalkeepers I am Yansana Echo what the Abanta the Brisamba and what the Magmenyona Fe what the Abanta the Rubin Ayeresa and so Echo where 3 goalkeepers are France Fonadio Mo Echo Afroba defenders now was Malo Goso what the Abanta the Genesis Malzen Yakansa Manson Ayala Cross and for the Jules Kunde what the Luka Tenye and what the Ibrahima Konate what the William Saliba Diet of Mekando Lucas Hernandez and Francisco Hernandez and your phobia and Nina Womonsom Echo Afroban Metroda or Rian Ayatake or Rian Chomane or Fran Derabi or Fran Golo Conte and of Fra Aya Akolati Afens or Fra Brantani team Adi Aya Manu Kone and what do Ranzari Emery and so Eka midfielders no na Abane Tenteno Afono wingers and Aya strikers na Wakomu Inabo Mosman Tembele and what the Bloody Bacola what is Jean Philippe Mateta and what the Marcus Thuram what the Toussaint Due killing Mbappe and Michael Olise and he where squad of France and some Adiko World Cup no Atasanya Sam Koto Quentino Adam Son Kobaka Kwanswa Efi France Banano Penami Ketri Ediamano Penyani Jande Casper Hormont Wanona Oya head coach Adima bind for Leverkusen reporter nanopa Mensaka as Leverkusen France papa nyante and to see Siniba na we ombe jana kwan na so mu jana kwan dia wam so anya we kwa de Philippe Luis na no da ba so wonya Chelsea ope na adwuma no de omo enso e de Mansabi Alonso tiwe de womra bebe na Alonso eye adwuma no wam so man fama Philippe Luis ha ene okojuru na boboko na wom head coach and de Michel was say wom enso betime e de amono panyin ntane ya reporter and now no pen me nsa aka e wo dwumade so no pay me bo ache kakra e bia ma beta mamenko Italy na menko di dwuma kakra ene ukọ Italy a one said the Azuris of 3 sisi World Cup no on 3 occasions and Crofona ntima qualify na wo medwa bruta amata so kopie ma ene ade se sita Donkor mu say no sisi World Cup mo hedanya bi hwe ade se nye so free Ghana nkabo we ene ade so mu be fili na and no pa reporter men say kan say one said Gennaro Arvan Gattuso resign na opanyani de Salvio Badini wano no mo de aduma no edema no na we omo under 21 no omo head coach no sa coach we 25 ana tese omo de aduma no edema na yenkodam ho under 21 no kwabra reporter men say kai say papa no say squad no obefre one say junior ye be kan bo friendly match ansana World Cup na nkasa edu ho eno na tese Ghana ye ne Mexico any Wales mu nyina anso bob nti Wales de no sa game ni bi no yes it sa interim coach na ba say what the under 21 for no kwa de babo wo wuse mpem for the nyate entano ya reporter men saka e we dwumade so na no pa me bo ache kakra e di ama na ma men kwa Argentina na men konkwadi nkoma kakra ya se wo kwa Argentina issue bi asase o ho a wo mudi hu nkomo kakra na aye issue ben on abrante ne de Julian Alvarez na ya so kwa Argentina ya se wo mate se Atletico Madrid esa abrante ne de o monyo ma dwen so o mu beton no se impo na ye sikasem nti ana na nka so o moton Julian Alvarez ansana ebi atim na timanya ska na ansana matimi ebi ti financial fair player ade no Apollo for na ba wo mu discover bentemu ayede enti se pass on beton makokọ bi de bibia ntom ade bia ni o mati ata se player in fact on beton no na obi ti se Julian Alvarez padia enya de so on beton akoda no enti omo so omo ka am obi ata se wo ye team no ay wadwe se Julian Alvarez wo beton na padia omo so omo mu hia sika wo mu mfa sika mfa nya hwe enti abrante na nya de so on beton na mom jo omo so mbe ye nie wo mbe ja craft no na craft na di nkomo enti wo de oba on be ma audience no on be grant audience no na oni o ma di nkomo mu hia no maka to se emom ya waka ni nyina ye bete ye mfa enya de se ye ton akoda na de na ma enti Julian Alvarez na basa for mani abre na mo pa na to mu musika emro 100 million mo mfa top player basa for so musika sem no se wo ye player na obo buru 100 million nya de so mbeto na reporter men saka sakodai enkrofo so mbeto no kwa this 150 and say 120 enti omosa fe kwa do munya nton abrante no ade ya report efi Argentina eba e wo dwumade so na no pay make tire kakra e di ama na Bernardo Silva
player de Man City bobo kono na yenim se sisi ni ba na we so fa benya akọ na eno ata na central for ekwoti no mu bisa na se wo Arsenal team no na Arsenal team na nya isemu no mo na play league ni nyina sisi na banta no sisi ya down to the wire mu betimi ade ana na so na sa Arsenal de wo mo so Arsenal mo mo kasi pato Bernardo Silva no and business as men now can also so league there for the past years in here say you pe contenders wo mo aye rival there Arsenal for nka ho emo man ka Liverpool for na TTS City for na Arsenal for the head anya dombia enti abrantes yenkam emo biantes ade ba ko Arsenal wo pa ye say wo mu team na be 5 years in here and mo build enti players na bo mo ho sa enti bo de nyame anim ni Arsenal for ni bo ne bo pa beta anu ntase league no mbaje ne posa and no no mbetwena twetan and your reporter Branton de Bernardo Silva and the tutor e wo dwumade so na anopa ne ye ka tie kakra and the amanda owie no twem sesa anko musito mu take o chances right and afa so mu transition season anke ekoye kakra anke bia season yenye nsania ye kana Arsenal for ye gaga yi and your Bernardo Silva anko kakra wadi tutor na owie no chese wo panya ne de Pep Guardiola and e ntia anka ono so anko nananka no mo eye no na ko pese wo fitim na Pep Guardiola e ka tan so da bi this time da nya da se wo betimi akọ wa se papa na asam na kwanya tisia no emu abie so no Bernardo Silva and the season ni ba na bi obetimi enso free city bobo kwada no ya reporter mensa e ka na Chelsea fans no munga da na mema mo story kakra na nsa mensa da nya Chelsea story na tisia mad the for na wo mo nam ho apaso ntinom e ya na Chelsea medini nyina mad the for better anopa mama ni Chelsea nkoba kakra na on William Estavao once na no da na eba se Abranten World Cup no enya de so betimi akobie esanse ni plan ya de hardwene reporter men saka ya se yese ni antora agene etie no wo so osisi de ne ombenya tuso conventional treatment no conventional treatment ni yese eno en surgery enka ho because no mu two option se bi on be yakoda ni surgery no ebe kwa ni me pa ebi kwa no wan we age se bi somewhere bi abe December na se ebi abe November na ebi ha na tese akoda no betimi atona ebia no nso atima akoto se yakoba se surgery but our conventional one there and enu ne atechire na ari so bia yenko World Cup ne mna there na ebia Abrante no watima yo okay enti ni agency ne se omugusu a omudi nkoma na afi ometima paper Abrante ne ye se na ebia obetimi enso ama ne ho atode ntem na abo atos bobo kwada ne reporter William Estafao efi akoda na kate ade eba beta Chelsea din komo mieno enkoma me nsaka head coach Ben na eba yesi Zabi Alonso nkomade na kwani ye pa ama Alonso ade penie Alonso ne nkomade na niam nyina akoye ama yesi Zabi Alonso ade atuma anasa aka 1 2 3 6 bia yeso mo ye na Zabi Alonso atimi aba ba di Chelsea aduma no na watimi so aya ne kama beta anopai reporter men say ka yese Zabi Alonso beba yesi Chelsea be hia aye goalkeeper na Mark Menyon obeka last summer yakọ no hom ama yakọ mbo yebo ana yetiti te ho yankwa nkoto ana Chelsea for so akwaya ni tin ade rob sansa betimi aya aduma akwaya bobo na afa na motwem ene yabo ubehu ni nantem na boy nam ho eno na Chelsea for so there be say new head coach ba ade ne problem na mienu o park no so mo say we strikers na say ho de ye wayi ho ja opedo ho nte ho nse da nye problem ana defense one so you see na Liverpool wo mu nyina ba enti problem say there no see say problem ye mienu pep ye coach ana fe ye goalkeeper enti Chelsea for say wo mo ha ya say aduma ni na atimi abani ye reporter mensa kana awon asamasi yese World Cup ya ye bebo no the can say UEFA Champions League final ya ye bebo on the 30th once no da me ba beka to say Paris Saint-Germain say wombe stage a big swing pa ene ye can say quad ni bi four-sided one no ene bi no mudi si Parc des Princes na amanfo so atima ba hebo ni bi na anope me kwa ya on say Parc des Princes afa ya 400 and ye can say 47,929 ano any capacity afa kwabana no pay meti ya say wo mo de request akopa say wo mo take it ni bi no 200,000 ana nkofo say nesa ga mi mami ni pa na ya say o mo say de o mo de be ya Arsenal for bibi ba na mo de bunta na mo nya gagai na mo ma ayala nyam yodo Arsenal de win Arsenal de win mate pia di force de wo mani asi abre no no ɛne ɛnyɛ ɔmo kɔ Hungary kɔ game ni bi no ɛnom anso ayo ɔmo stadium baby ayɛ ball no ana nipa 200,000 ana so interest ɔmo take it no ɔmo de ɔmo kɔ screen kaka ɔmo kɔ hetoa sanya be go ball no be hu de wa ɛne mesi kwa ne reporter mensa ka ɛwɔ dwumadie so na aka be 4 minutes wɔ ho okay ma ayi tutra fama me na menya quick one we na memfanya mad de de no ayi Eduardo Camavinga on say call up no didi edition so onya de wan frɛ no ntiwe sɛ mad de forma ne tena benta kwa bena we bɔne bɛ na vala belu aya ɛne tem ya vala belu kwa bena aya dia na sa assignment ya mfrɛ wo enti so tendu no de tego peta de babo a mosia vala belu on players bi asɛm di shop krampo zu huru sa kwa ne nya de enti ane Eduardo Camavinga na another Manchester United o captain Bruno Fernandes akọ guarantee interview ane ebisa no na Arsenal team ne Declan Rice and also Declan Rice in the ohe na onya Arsenal player or Manchester player pa because akwa no ball na obono anka Manchester anka be boy pa because wonu osa ye ya sa akwa ne ko Arsenal na wonim san ka anya hwe kwa na anka obeba Manchester United bobo ko no enta anka fifi de anka no Bruno Fernandes ene Declan Rice anka omeye adwuma no brutal eno yanko baka kwa sa akoda di aba kwa na we de project ne wa ye di aba mu no watam say ono ne best player mu nkoto no emfa ne enso emra enti de tie ne kilomita man so no Japan squad ne bae no Abrantene nka na Manchester wa akoda ba ko ho ne din Eddie JJ Gabriel kwabna yesi season awie se nkoda mu ho no 15 years pe akoda yesi under 18 ye bo season we 30 goals na akoda na nya Manchester United say dabi nyame anim ne akoda ne ye good one here next aye sama anasa the next aye season no Abrantene likely say ono so betima start game Eddie ama aye Manchester United bobo ko na ayi tuta fama me na mama Fiorentino Perez wo squeeze no so say no ada wakoko ntuka o Fiorentino Perez akoko ntuka was stands na yes one is supporters no and now some go to across and there na supporters no ko kata papa dwa din amata say woni man the supporters ni yiyi waka na supporters ni nso aka waka na supporters na ka na amata say man for few say Fiorentino Perez the 35 years awo aden nkwa ademai asase aban we the tese timi wo ba be dia fa ana omo obi anka hwe obi aka bibia wonte ase obi adwene bi obetire bia yemogo enti fans ne say omo nti Fiorentino Perez ase enti against of yado mo amhwe wo screen so no eno aye mad team president Fiorentino Perez no woni aye supporters na tese eyi ona kwa ba ko de wono ye no so ohia evidence no twini phone ana to so twa selfie kama pa say that ase munti no enti na ba to na du ho wo de akwa tere papa no na eno so ho mehwe stance ni ma kwabna ayi bana kakraka baako atese womo atwese Perez out ana womo atwere obi nim se Fiorentino Perez na ema nkoda no koye sa de ne dia bana na nkofo no bema na security personnel no akwakoje womo bema no makantum womo pese be so kra ma obi ahu se sabio Fiorentino Perez no womo so enya dada no ye reporter eja eba ewo screen no so na eno a mpato report ni ne Mbappe say Nikoti no avala balwa katense or your fourth choice striker na you can say Gonzalo Garcia mo ene Masantuano mu nyina we nim chene say we ye so ana say menya so say na mo he aboard mi bobi say no enti na mi mo pio but Kylian Mbappe say yes man the force say wono striker no nyade enti say you can strikers or toso mako 4 enti your fourth choice striker eno dia Mbappe do tuja and ye bisa na asema okay when ya Abelua problem no say me Abelua ni problem me ni asem bia ana o say na oni ni asem bia ne e dia na aba no so anim and say wo yes wo ni ne wasem eni ntina ne Zabi Alonso ya fa no so na mo asema am okay sa Alonso ndem nim say me madam for no me ne ya fine me ne wo good relationship enti ano ntia say bia no mebu obi anim chada bi on de o say wonom wonya sa de ne kwa no ade ba kwa enwa aye say wonom Mbappe wo si akan sama no yesase na yebobo matches ne amanfo si Mbappe abodo so dodom eni kwase ye mane bobo obia afe omobo obia so bia kwa na mo se oye gagai bo no mpeso obebo oye select na Mbappe si nyame anim ne ekoso o made no wono oye players na o person voice out ɛnyɛ so de obekɔ akɔ read no antentan afidie no so na ebia wakɔ akɔtɔ de ato hɔ ɛna ɔbɛhɛ no akɔ akɔda message ɛde ato YouTube anaasɛ ebia wɔde bi akɔ akɔto Instagram so ɔno ɛnyɛ ne saa wode microphone ma na one on one na no hɔ nkwa de ɔbɛka ɛne yɛ reporter Mbappe ɛnso de tu Ghana ne coach bɛtena sɛ ne yɛbisa sɛ obeyi Mbappe asɛm ɔka ni o yɛsɛ waka ten sɛ ɔyɛ fourth choice striker no ɔsɛ me ɛne akwa no wante ne yie menya saa deɛ ne da ama pɛ deɛ anana no there wa mobile ma hu de na team ko na no na hwe oh no you good player and na there say betimi ahe sa de de no sisi ano Mbappe ni the coach ni de kwabna de na aye clear say no onya da papa no onya da papa na busia ma yemfa ma de nkomo no memfa ensi ase ya etena de nyame anim ya ma ya de fufu party no na ebremo atena yemfa weekend edition of Insha Power Sports na embremo yete fufu party na de ebremo in share from 4 quarter ya anti aya no aba na ye nyina ya didi sports no ba ye be ye ne ho entertainment nyina be ba ya ka tem se fufu hita no contender na ya amoma ne mra na efi no aba nyina akra me nidi be ye fasting babna me hwe asafo ntimi nya adwuma no ntimi a me jesi me na so anti fiti no aba nyina me nidi ye
so so obetimi agi eyina man ne meda no
no enu mom de enti na me nidi ye se na be a ekom no be dim yie anse ni pan so de ekom
so betimi asese gu mo no so ye you
no mo de because
wasafo de
papa ne de oye ni se ya atimi se di
on de o twavu
oye ni se de inside
no oyaba
and
wadi ufu ache ba
no de me no ya adwene se no de ya me no ya adwene
anka mo de fatula back no
sisi akwatiro na didi asai na anu asem ni nti
Matias
anu asem ni
so ko he no ne number 400 osi mawu
ka kitwe bi agotra line no
udi dizade
awuzi abata tena bla na fufu party ne nyina ye enjoy na enye kama ewe ni manti kwabna bibia ni ho de ne meko
fufu party na so ahunti ye ni na ne eboa ho na ochina ne yebedi fufu no papa na sada medical kan no achina no I expect to say between feeding the per 1,500.
Oh, okay.
Until I feel so over here. So over Germans over here. Ur office on the bunch be big go.
Okay.
And the board dear nominee in Grammunamani and Dean and Anomadia bar.
Okay.
A man on Bayadian and so aba. Auntie, how much no say can be biabu boom. Na achakra non do at the Coboni Dubako na edijumediano at the Shishaso. Na Fiasha na yedi eyemfufu kama panti yetu ensa de fro bia baby awo Ashanti region ha bia empo se wo de wo outside Kumasi na oploso badwumadi ni bia kwan da ho ni nan so oba beduru a entem no oba bedu fufu owia na osan ekonemum se de aka no oba ayewa de yentimi mfa mawo aha antu ba no ankasa do ayewa na diaba na obaju fufu no akotena se na wodi nti ochina dwumadi ni nyame adoma eba so ebo Nhyira FM animu ha ya eye fufu party team na dwumadi Faith Homeopathic Center baba so ya cinema culture say ode yade awura ho a yade bi ti say diabetes hepatitis B adna enam yade wo any problem and answer ta complain of osisia about your faith a honest oko near show yade ne tu yade na se edema komase your hinema kokobin 0244 583 859 and your number and no make us say Greenwich Cold Store and nam papa in the fee and ho and nam bia upebia so one kasa na open and nam akonwe aduane di ofie sanso and e bia o pretty choba restaurant open nam na odi akwako du dwumane nyina na konya ne dawo momna meto nam papa ne bo no abo from sausage beef akoko no upefu wana ne nyina ne obi ho ye on wings no ho sanso na your cassava air fresh ni dinano eyadia ebi ewo ho adintu no Gary Coastal mpacho omonso no abesia sena omo apia du ya omene Roman asori no edna eye opposite 0530 789990 Medimosid Process Center omo buy 30 years and still counting omo boduma papa na oye bema na wutimi amesew o process ne o ma ya cheke especially so the 30 years a day kwa eya abrano brano no no mo check him fama say there be a problem e ba obetimi aso ano enso there ba what problem with your prostate obetimi akọ na mama odru na ho ato kama pa oba untimi enwo eye medimosis na me kamfo ade amawo omo so kira kwan ewo kuma se ya yewo ahenema kokoben oboase santasi road no eso asa stretch no ho na yewo 0248 712812 eno eye number me pacha obetimi eno mo edi eye enkomo Nhyira convenient food yen ena yede abeya ya wona kama a package ede agu kan mu na obeto aso ho obi o pa abenkwan pa abenkwan no ho ne ye ya nyamye no rugani it takes time abenkwan no ejemre ebi o kwan kwan no nko a bi abe 2 hours na unye ebi so na komdo so ba abenkwan no pe me so nyi we nya afi na akota abe no abewo we ai bibia dada ene ede agu eye container nim so ho entu ko ya auto na obafia na chese you are good to go wabenkwan na aye ready ede entu obia tobi so okopoku trading sisi bi ho sanso na ABC man patase ohunna no okwa also ope eye Nhyira convenient eye food wamo so wamo a product wamo edi abano adwo kama pa 0554 442 853 Aseda beverages and spices omo enede eye assassin natural purified drinking water ade apa eye dwaso abudunsuo ensuo efiri butem na ede enam minimu a ejeyo so ensuo na ede na ebusuan sasa fridge mu kura de ye ene na asam na sei ensuo na do ede papa enti china se fufuo party na se udu fufuo we ni ama bi no anum aguso na se wawie no pintin sanso na dwumadie bia wudi bia program bia no fa bi esab wase na ahoho no obia enya nso ni bi enso emfa enum kama pa afa edufly travel consult omo so obeso asene obeso tu kwantie akonto eye nemu nsa wanfa kwan papa so a ano anya company papa obetimi do tu kwan ni obedu sika obedi ni so kama abra beka Ghana ha untimi tu kwan no and into your student obese okoto adusua so abo abroche oye businessman obeso tu kwan ko your business sanso na ebia peso tu kwan na onso ko okonsra so ko hwe obi krom no asaba ni nyina sa eya akwanya no eda edufly travel consult country bia ye be na kama enso etimi edi amount na ye kira kwan awo Kumase he ya denyame ose ope eye Dampan Pharmacy building 2nd floor 0596 385878 eno eye number mpamcho wobetimi eno mo edi eye nkomo nyina no ena aso asra nyame aduma ochina fufuo party yade ehihye so na wasidan na wie na edu timer esa de wires ni gusu na wire me pacho mano enye sun cable mo cables no ena se odi gusu sanse cables first one de enkoye kura wu kanena na ehun sun cable no enti first no dan na ehihye nyina na anim yesi en obi na akopa matches na ube Kumase asoro ha wa betetrrr ta na chesa semasi efio na na ehye mesraw sa wodan na edu time a owoya koto sun cable amu product ni bi na so no efa na kama esanse Ghana Standards Authority Energy Commission omu na stamp to say ampa wo mu product no and it's a Ghana ni bia wo si dan no fa wo ya wo dan na bibia nya kama ye wo aye cables ho ye wo switches your socket your multi lamp holders sanso and na PVC pipe dina omu edibi aba abontia oko Kumase adum sisi a also per PowerPoint electricals into electrician for amutie me if you for mo ba mon kan tom say enya san cable cables a on fanko non ko jiri bi famana anya sa wa ko na koto de na on fanya ne kama enfama 0534 800832 namno mo enin komo Uniat Practical Institute me pacho ene de computer ehuhia nkane na ne so computer de ehuhia kusua de no na wia obenya adwuma ye ne adwuma dodo na ba 95% ye the computer na eye so it is a computer hunim de no woni bi aso be shibruta so enti mesraw kwaji computer ho adesua ewo Uniat Practical Institute ho de practical na awa sekire because a hot year book asem and yes and book a better book no but practicals ne also into baby to so pa data analytics no kosua ho their software engineering computer hardware and mobile phone technicians network and cyber security engineering and courses p ka ho a obetimi akwa ye bi wie ya diploma so na say school no so no time bia person ko bia regular weekends and you distant class din na no available. The part of friend I was 0555 383848 and no a union number no na uno any common na P phones and accessories. Me part of phone papa ni fie and ho your phones nyina papa ne bono so at the form intimi ka say ofu okuta wo and a problem aba ho open fufuro akuta osika nso a me part of Ghana cards see faka kokumasi adum okwa mema aye direction ye ukodu akatene na pi se Richard ne suma ma se memra jime Ghana card yi na je hafi fa phone ma me tie we nye kasa tintin bia enya no ko an ye me patro ba no home appliances a enema emefia setena ye boko TV fridge air conditioner so papa entry light nina no yakofa bi ediaba rechargeable fans yakofa bi aba ene efie bibia obeyisu no fie nina yeton bi oha fufu oto na yasan achew ade ede account mi sraw afei ne bia abrabɔ no kra chance ya wo ba ho wo sese wo dem a ho na ese okɔ because ho de wo di sika fia bi no akwaji niama bebre benya ayo ato niama fufu onpewe na opede nti onso wuram awo na P phones and accessories na koto mo niama no ebi kuma se adum me pacho on Kesme hona Kesme media okɔ ha opposite omo ho sansona obi ba JK building nim omo ho PZ4 monko na nakosi agema building ma enkran de obakɔ Magdina Zongo Junction na Tamalefo monko Abuabu station 0533 093422 Amansewura Bank PLC Bank papa metuamu so anoma sorry wa mu bo adwuma style bia bi so esan say nano me ha na branch bia for so Richard okwa de wi a amo customer aye relation no kra na efe no so efe keke de won besi no akasa mpa achew na efra wo sen loan no yema wo sen efe keke intimi so enya bank bia manitua bank yi minimu na ye adwuma me ho akere me kwa no mom besi a chese enyema bi ombusem zan anam wo san yema wo ya kamaje be sen dai so ha intimi so da bia no ne bank ye adwuma san yema wo ne so consider banga china ho kire wo ma besi a na bibia aye kama and so there might be account or susu account or fixed deposit current account sansana saving din na no obetimi akwa ye bi ewo ho na be say yi na be fie salary advance and wo pay sanso na bia wo pesika dia akwa ye wadwuma din na se wo ya nkwankre ana wo ye ku a mokwa be mom bi na monso matimi ade akodi mu dwuma ATM card ye be ma bi sika ni fra broche na ba Western Union Ria nina ebe na kama enso edi amount me patcho head office no ewo Antua Krum o wa sentimentem ha o was me patcho campus on asantase munwura ho na monkodemo de eto ho ha munko bi account no ho so fly new transport air terminal no honso ye ho Roman Hill ye wo aye kote station ho a na asem obekọ aye Anglican school ho na ese honso no watimi akodu djuma no kama 0247 200013 eno eye amanse ya number eno no nti aya na wafre na moni omo edi eye enkoma no pay omo na aso yasena ye bidi nkoma no edi amamo vim energy drink hanu na eso yasene so na ede vim akasa awo fidie so na osori bia na usa se ahoden no wofama mesew bomodia na koto aye vim energy drink energy na nura olusu ye through adwuma mu no me patro obesanya na back na wetimi dia bo adwuma ma bibia no aye kama edi amaw aye trillium omadama eno mode aba abu bia befa bia no ebi e honti eno an so betobi na onso wetimi adnom na aboa ye pa amo ene afufuro pi ka ho na amo asoyasna Friday edition of Nhyira Digital Passports yedi dwumadie no edi Ebremo Joshua Holutu. Josh, good morning.
Morning, Rich.
Now what's saying?
Nyamiadum, you think kwa mudie. Bibia you okay.
Okay. Fifi Manfred. Kofi. Now what is saying? Oh yeah, Drew dear. Yeah. Mr. Ugusu yeah Drew. Oh so ni me dey wanim. Yeah Drew Kofi. Adwuma do anim nya adwuma gitu awu. Okay, yes, that's it. So every Friday is a round table discussion. Inti yen kamum na yen komo. But me pese here from Real Madrid. Now I say I don't know Real Madrid story be a baby no. E come as a nye story papa. As a negativities in kwa and yajin boni diama Real Madrid. Adenya. Anu Madrid bo game. Omo ene Real Oviedo and the boy. Game na kasa de Madrid eche 2. Oviedo for 90 anti. Na Kylian Mbappe eba game no. I don't know. Said the Madrid fans ni si hura branch no. Kwa we abeka say Kylian Mbappe kronsi akan emfa Real Madrid. Ni na branch the bo game na my point. Ya pro game no. Ena branch di 2 daso. Ono say team na obo no kra. Ni coach Abarora. Aso say o he nim ho na 4 players no. Ana say omo mu gina nim ho ebo game. Edema Real Madrid come here so no Madrid for na any coach na nkasa Abarora no. Aso omu rate no 4th. Na man for say a whole Kylian Mbappe 18 no age World Cup. Madrid the bear pants anu munya branch for Paris Saint-Germain. And Edward Baya den and Abarora say oh yeah the 4th choice striker awo Real Madrid. Adey akofan sempi edna ediaba ebi me fu say look Madrid no and say problem na ewum no the internal problems and say nya no bi kra na ye ka enso awo ayabonte no and em pese de share age medino enso asokovi me sha semfa emfiri ho in fact me ba studio I'm say George when now this video na chere me no Madrid training grounds are utimi say I don't know say Catelo say you Vinicius Junior on the boys are oh my god baby and Kylian Mbappe is in the boys and I was like really is it the Madrid I don't know the economy no it's serious
and my Josh it's on the video in the
so no problem Josh
yeah
video no say it was a training video right
yeah and
they are cause of Madrid team
on say there are so many things happening at Real Madrid and it is now that some of them will even come out for us to hear. To say they made a video on the Edge show and then you could see clearly that Vinicius Junior had a section of players are not omudin echia not omudin komo. It was a training ground video and you could see say ebi omo train we and na omu free park no so. But clearly you could see there were factions. And Vinicius Junior and a few guys on one side, Kylian Mbappe
and the boys
on another side. But if we want to analyze Asema AP after another game now, a lot of people would say, what both Alvaro Arbeloa Ekan and what Kylian Mbappe is also saying, it looks like both of them have had an issue in the last few days, in the last few weeks. Because I really don't understand a situation where Arbeloa Beba Bekachre Kylian Mbappe say, on the pecking order of my forwards, you are number 4. And then Kylian Mbappe comes to communicate the same to the public. And it begins to look like Alvaro Arbeloa MP on Kylian Mbappe asem.
And we can't draw.
That is, I mean, on the face of it, that is what it looks like. But a lot more goes into what is happening right now at Real Madrid. It is not just about one player creating confusion. It is about a misunderstanding that has happened that it looks like they are struggling to iron out their issues. So currently, Arbeloa Bekana Sema, I am looking at it that Kylian Mbappe has misunderstood some of the things that Abeloa said. For which reason, his own interpretation is what he has brought out to the presser. And also Ekanasem to signify the fact that Abeloa does not like Kylian Mbappe.
Okay.
And that is problematic because now that the season is ending now, Omajiatum said they haven't done so well in terms of the performance. And in the same way, so Abekata, all that has gone on in Real Madrid throughout the season, that they have sacked their coach earlier on, they brought somebody else, Abeloa, to come and take over. And the issues that they had with Xabi Alonso,
as well losing the dressing room,
some of those same issues are still happening under Abeloa. Is a coaching change the only way to solve the problem? I don't think so. Because already, number one, it looks like the players, on the player side, there's a misunderstanding going on there. Then also at the managerial level, there's also a lot of misunderstanding going on right over there as well. So Jose Mourinho na omoka se oba beji adwuma no. Rich, it seems to me as though the work or the magnitude of work that Jose Mourinho would have to come and do at Real Madrid will not just be about bringing the players together and telling them that they have to work with him or trying to assert his authority in that dressing room. It will go beyond that. Because if in a dressing room there are factions and players don't speak to each other, some players don't speak to the coach, for which reason the coach says something and some players will take those things and misrepresent it in the media. Rich, Jose Mourinho would have to do a lot of background work before he can get these boys to come together as a team once again for the season to progress, next season going on. And that is a very big thing. Very, very, very big job for him to do. That is if indeed Onuna Eba Bedi Ejumana.
Okay. Mate, Kidos Tax and Eda coach Bio Babeji Real Madrid Ejumano. And to me, Kofi, I'm saying what ye George and Chichi Mono. What did you do? Video and they copy what Kylian Mbappe said after the game. Bibia Madrid. Until now, maybe I'm quite allowed.
Still, because me who video needs, I don't speak to it.
No problem.
But I think that for Football Club Real Madrid, problem can see what I've said. In fact, I'll share the last 2 days interview of Florentino Perez. I think that actually you know baby Madrid as a club, which I think that for the very first time in a long time, Florentino Perez in a position at Madrid no. The influence may be winning. And winning in terms of, say, a soti or brofum. Because for the past 2 seasons, Madrid in winning Bibia. And so what he have here, Tabaz have said something along the line, say, on winning Florentino Perez. Anytime Florentino Perez teams ever struggle, Biano, then he begins to come in and do these press conferences and be throwing in things about Negredo, Monia, to deflate attention from the side. Rich, me Banosonomitie Gabi. Gabi made mention of the story of how now there was some Real Madrid fans that the banner of Florentino is part of the problems, no edit one, then the security kept on telling them to go off. You see, a bit me Abana said these are people that have been inspired on by the opponent of Florentino Perez. But truly, it also tells because 3 years ago, Abrana Madrid winning 3 peats on the sea money deal, the sea money signing mano. Nobody would dare take any form of banner against Florentino Perez or Santiago Bernabeu. In fact, Obian will be to me underpinning the importance of Florentino Perez in the history of Football Club Real Madrid. And no would take Kylian Mbappe. Osiano Kre. Nyemamwa e dia Madrid. But the Madrid fans really fee their Florentino Perez I am rich. Madrid fans ain't fan show team say Juma Florentino Perez I am on eso. And they may not get it from elsewhere. But for the very first time, there are a lot of reasons to believe say there are certain Madrid fans, certain people in and around the club that feels that some of the methods of Papa and friend Florentino Perez can't be questioned. Which for the very first time, there are reports that there is somebody who is willing to contest Florentino Perez. When was the last time somebody contested Florentino Perez brazenly in public? Edding. Because he is hugely popular. Or a president that will need a lot of success. In fact, so person Florentino Perez in common year, and you want to the magnitude of the person that he is. Clubs like Liverpool and Manchester United have won 70, 72, 73 titles. Florentino Perez as a president alone was 74. So in terms of institutionalizing a person, Florentino Perez is any panel. Or enormous number of trophies at Madrid. In terms of the success he has choked. The trophies in Kwana would they justify the importance of, would they justify success or club Ibimwa. Florentino Perez has it. Then away from that, there is no stadium 2 years ago. One club pen in Europe only $1 million in terms of revenue of euros after the season. It was Florentino Perez. When you go to the Santiago Bernabeu, rich and you're even the Madrid Open, sometimes they play it at the Santiago Bernabeu, certain parts of it. Almost toss near the idea once year they give it out to get money back. It is a huge operationalized system. And Florentino Perez around club no brady. There is a lot of revenue that comes in. It across multiple facets. Say a club, say a trophy, so say a body of park, so say a place represents a club, no, and all of that. But here in Madrid for now are going to be a victim of their own standards. Standard Omankasa said in the past, and even not so far past, in recent past, and no nene in for the question because Madrid are known to win almost every season. So one this season and next season BB. But for them to go 2 seasons without a single title, begs the question, say, maybe all my friends, Perez, and that interview that he did, for me, shows us that he is beginning to feel the pressure from the guys at Mark Canano complaining about from the Barcelona pro papers, like, and they okay in front of sport are rich. Sport for and for them, it's essentially about how as a Madrid Newman Kuya they can echo it, re-echo it, and also talk about the positives of the club. If you go in front of Mundo Sport today, they are written the front page essentially is about Kylian Mbappe, rich. And they are talking about Mbappe issues and now Kokokai. And for them, that is the issue that's going on. That is where Florentino Perez, I believe he said, there are also certain elements, both in the media, in Madrid, and what have you, that are making the pressure much more enormous because you know who is a problem beyond one of them. It is a time that Madrid have gotten to, and a new man should uncle. Which Madrid as a club, Adiabako Wompe. And it says a wooden como ewo Spain crew there is going to be a slight thought say club be a better team. Especially when it's Barcelona. They don't want it. If you understand the dynamics of Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's essentially somebody that thinks that they are the overlords of that country and go for homogeneous or a minority, but they also want to use their meager resources to always tramp and make sure that they fight for their colours. And he said, Madrid the foreign share the year and Yomako. Barcelona have won, I think, their 28th title or so. Now, Madrid are on 36. They are closing in. In the last few years, especially in the last decade, Barcelona, for some reason, have constantly been winning the Spanish La Liga. If you take the last 5 years, Barcelona and Xavi are winning Spanish La Liga. How see it Africa be winning you? So if you compare just the two clubs, Barcelona have been successful domestically, Copa del Rey, Supercopa de España. Barca are winning. Yes, you may be winning in Europe and be winning your Champions League here and there. But in Spain, in spite of Nhyira Ekosu or Barcelona who need the amount of money to buy the best players, or say one out of best players, no, they are getting success and you are struggling to get a success. So just putting pressure on Florentino Perez. Many shows will be better about two as Madrid president. Many shows will be big with Florentino Perez as Madrid president. But what will happen is that if these things begin to continue to fester, one shiny year it will embolden more people to come out and say, okay, then we can contest Florentino Perez. Then we can push to ask questions about Florentino Perez. And then maybe these guys able to me one day to Florentino Perez FRDS. But stands down here. Who is going to be the manager of Football Club Real Madrid? And the most important thing, Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho. But we all know that it's linking towards a bunch of friends Jose Mourinho. Say no bar. next season what is going to be the plan. If Madrid come back and they start winning, there will be no issues. But immediately, and some Mbappe can say Abelo catch so a 4 choice Abelo Ababeka say one casa. It is because Mbappe knows that Abelo will go. Mbappe will say Abelo Abeko.
So how some no can cry no. I mean, the above branching do all kind.
No, Rich, they are the downsides of Florentino's plan of running Madrid. So power ni bebre will players inside that. It do maybe it is easy to disrespect the coach.
Because bit is some Antonio have on your regular starter.
Exactly.
Vinicius, yes, but Vinicius, I mean, you name say. There's no way Real Madrid will game.
Yeah.
Not Vinicius is available.
Yeah.
There are certain players who boom with I think those players they are not even starters. Yes, and now in a pecking order, we have fourth choice.
It's Oshe do and Yoma corner. You can tell say on reti Abelo Abim, and he knows say Avero Abelo Abeko. See Avero Abelo Akodia. Then whoever comes in, he can fight for him. And also, Florentino Perez. There be Florentino Perez problem. But you forgot when Vini said to him, I told you say it is about Florentino Perez.
Okay.
Vini Vini said on Xavi a good relationship. He has been asked before. Vini did not say that on Xavi a good relationship. Was only okay. On any problem. But look at Mbappe. Mbappe's only a good relationship. So there are some factions that believe that.
Okay.
Reported by Freemasons, I say players be about Madrid. Omujiri say bimu enemy yi Xabi Alonso fio. Federico Valverde Edin was listing him. Vinicius Junior Edin was listing him. Opposite wise, I want Mbappe in the French boys and so on. He has to put his foot down and then give authority and power to the coaches to handle the dressing room. Yes, Barcelona with a united front to keep on winning, and Madrid will be in a lot of trouble.
I agree with you, me no ya dream pa. Frank, all right. Me for message in rem na fe yento so emfa emamo say Abaloa isn't a man manager. As if you always say. Before you always want to take the blame. Now you want everyone to believe he's in charge and can't work with some players. Hasn't really solved the problem. Frank, oh why? And now this message at the Abbey. I'm going to na yamatua discussion so no emfa emamo yene amwa automobile. She said the obaya sentimentem ha. And obeshu bia ka no akoye no mono. Ka ni bi odi be 20 years, 10 years. Obesha na sa ya mono. Abrante na okay no so amo na mfiri bayi. So yes. Afedi amanfo hu se openino ebo adwuma opa. Obapa, good morning.
Good morning.
Na what to say?
Nyame adomo na so e.
Nyame adomo ho ye pa. Amwa automobile. Yetimu anopai.
Ai amwa automobile ansa na meka sano. Yebechia wo T4.
T4 job so.
Yebechia amwa automobile adwuma yefo so nyina. Amwa automobile se de munim ne dada na ka ho adwuma ne yeye. Yeye body wash, yeye spraying, yeye lining, yeye air conditioning, yeye polishing. Inti ka ho adwuma.
Ana mo ye.
Ene yeye.
Into BTSCA na wanya problem with the air conditioner. On family ho CCA.
Me pa try on fambra.
Se ne car na se de bi ho a. Eno so betimi di aba.
Me pa try on
fambra. In fact, in general, car no yade wo no ho a.
On fambra.
On car na mra.
Me pa try.
Okay, omra he.
Amwa Automobile Enterprise.
Pacho mo he.
Pacho ye wo kote apemso. Ofri amena neba ye wo udre amena filling station a. Obefa alright oba also pa apemso first junction udru ho no ma ye signboard kesiesi ho. Ya troso Amwa Automobile Enterprise. Ye fin ye bi ne kesie ye gate ni green banners bebre ebobo ho. Ofri de di akoso neba udru de di akon station ho no ma also pe apemso betrabo nsuo bi. Oba wanim kakara eho ane ewo eno so signboard kesiesi honum banners bebrebo fi no honum o use phone so abetimi asearch no Google map also pe Amwa Automobile Enterprise e do beba honum a enye yera kwan kora
na amanfo se mi musamo adwuma no nkwa mo ye ne sentina mo be spray car be wie no se ye hwe mo de ne de compare the others na as a momo de ne unique mo ye ne den die na mo hono mo ye anti ema mo nsa no adwuma na efesa mo ye den
Richardo pacho
die na mo de ye ka no
ye isu ni oma papa na ye adwuma
okay
ni oma papa na ye de ye adwuma side that you take your time from every stage bia na you take your time and san ya the next stage enti sama ye first stage we na say enye perfecta
on next
stage because me free hanim say na me free one na me ko to na say one nin CP na me ko to one the problem very reflected with 2.
Okay.
2 problem very reflected with 3.
Yeah.
Aha. Aside that you use your papa na yejuma. Yemfa paint phone bi anya yejuma. You use paint papa ene di yejuma. Ye wi so yesado ka na ra ovin mama. Ye fancy abonte man once na anwea bi mbongu so ma en say wo ka no. Ye wi ane di ra ovin na ovin so aye na magic area ama ka no. Enti ye hodie.
Ovin aye ni mi bia na we.
Me pacho enye ovin na ye de to pan no.
Because I last go ba brand to be something na ovin there. Era zenye sa ovin bia. Okay,
enye sa ovin bia.
Okay.
We ovin na your friend a car boot.
Okay.
What the car ni shima na we spray car no. Inti ni dwuma die titiri ne se eboa ema na one eye fe eye dwuma papa or like where you know o gloss na wo de begu car ne so be pie na se gloss na wo car ne so no e fe ankasa 2 eboa so ma unso spray car no abonten a abo bi twema wotimi so frama so timi bo na nse ebu ansuo timi to
na di anwea
abo anwea nsuo so to sa so na unse Richard sometimes in suo to a enye tembia na atimi spray car se nsuo to a untimi spray car
because se bo ebegun pe asemaba
ebo cramp na baby a won cramp na mbombo gu hu but say weather ni mu nwunu pa colors ni bo no maka se wo spray no weather ni mu nwunu na ebechi no e ma ni nyi ne ho the way we say yi ne ho
okay
but se wo boot ne dia emfa ho ni se nsuo to nsuo nto
because mu hye
yes
okay
emfa ho se nsuo to nsuo nto wo de share ma betimi ayde spray wo car no enti no ade papa nko na yede ye no am automobile enterprise enti boot ne de ehu hia pa
sure
ehu hia because ebo ma car na ye fe eyi car no badi ma hu se kai de me spray
etefo we dia masunu a em se jejemuna na de amam no maka kiro enti we na nka so ene say I see the home to charge there the o ti kire spray boot ni ade de ene say ne ese de omo charges awosro in a nutshell yes so uti adwumade ya oka said ya bia no fako am automobile insisi ne kama mfama me say wan kasa ye wie ka no na akọ na ka cho so ka no nesi ona okra mpo aka na ye odia no ebia number ne da wotim ene bia be hu say oka ni anya sa ebi kra be doubt say enye oka enti fa oka no ko said ya chirichi mu no ka no ne problem bia ye say eye ka no na fault abem ka ne seat e de bia tete obese ya disi fufuro hyehyɛ ho de ma wo e ma ne ye fe saa so na air condition ka na se na ye mre ye wi a ebi kra na ka no o de ba bia kotwi ye polish ana ye spray na ka na ye fa nyina saa nkomo no na ene ama automobile enso empany for AD nti obi be so ba omra he number na fi the opposite or the etwato na yemfa enka ho
okay nti so obi be so ba ama automobile enterprise obefa ofre mena na eba Oju a filling station or your friend at Kinspep. Oju on him obefa alright so ba wanim kakra so papem so drew up him so first junction pay a signboard kesiesi wo ya troso ama automobile enterprise ye fie no so gate ni ye green ye bie ne kakra ye banners ebobo ifie no anim ofri de yakoso na eba oba wanim kakra beju bonsu no hono ma ubisa first junction a few distance from bonsu to first junction uju first junction a banner ebobo honom and a signboard kesiesi so esi ho ya troso Amwa Automobile Enterprise. Your numbers near 0244 46 57 64 0244 46 57 64 Amwa Automobile de ejuma panko ane yede ye wo honom ti fa ka na brand ye hu ejuma ma.
Okay, enti yebeba de ka na beba na maye ejuma na kama pa enso edi amai enti so emma ayi ni nwuna wai emma spring boot ni ayi keka na mani nwuna ono kwa ye be yadwuma so na edi amawo kama nti mo amokra cars de free abrochire ade ba no bia na car no e problem kakra say usiesie ni ade ni na no obetimi ade akọ na amasiesie ne kama ade ama ya twodwade ne so ade Amamo Emmanuel Bedu, I say Manchester United will be relegated next season. Cha. Okay. That's it. Hala, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Now what you saying?
Oh, Nyamia do me hoya.
Ade am say. Mother didn't sense any nti way na yemrefi emedifi nkomo no.
Always. For me an issue of success on. There were a lot of friends, but failure. A pager curtains are any carpet nasi fin. I'm any Pierre Bunting. Mamen can't mention this season on. Sanka Barcelona called trophyless. People would have questioned the decision. Inigo Martinez across Saudi Arabia, and they would have gone straight to Juan Laporta and said that was a bad decision. Whatever it took, now Sanka Oye, na Omar Branty and stay. This season, Sanka Barcelona called trophyless. People would have raised the issue, said, "Ya catch him, Lewandowski." He said, "Why emre? Mumfu bimra. Matnatna huama noma nkoye." But once you get relative success, issues I war no
Obi agran kan.
Once the capital saso. Obi ampon say adeboni bi o team nim. Enti the same thing at Real Madrid. Madrid enye used to going 2 seasons trophyless on Yeshe. Omunye used to Sadia no. Enti you will expect and comfort to get agitated, raise issues in there. Now, say environment be a KG, na obi a PBB to blame. You need to be careful how you operate within this environment. That is the reason why Kylian Mbappe has become a subject of the failure. And as a utiena, or say club ni na faili. But on tia say the inter on a point, it is because time a club no. Ejitu muso ma faili no. Evidence that Real Madrid are going trophyless no. Everybody no be a pro be a blame no. And what ho buy. Then oye. The oye o man who kwam what ho buy was that he sought permission in the crisis mood no to go on vacation with a girlfriend. Esther Esposito. Look,
Madrid in
yet say Nhyira Sports go into crisis. And your man fa you see your listenership conform, your client are pulling out. Say BB Ebesum BIM fa within that time no. Say if I go to the HR office and say, Sister Bambesa, me call 1 month leave. I am telling you, nobody in the sports team will be happy. Say, that time we need all hands on deck. We need to show a certain level of commitment, even within the failure. And unti Kylian Mbappe decision says that time now. Or call vacation Italy with a girlfriend Esther no. And you Real Madrid fans in Kwanedao. Players no sujaye. Players no sujaye. That time we pan here will be a concentration on the team. Niempe kwa yebe so yebe Jojo supporters na kuma. That time we would who is to go with your girlfriend on vacation and go and have fun. Why? It was an environment that is looking for someone to blame. And Kylian Mbappe just threw himself at the blame.
And the timer, Madrid didn't hear result no.
Yes.
They are branded the
yes.
No.
When people
at the moment me about YouTube. Insha TV.
No, kese the guy no boat no so.
Time Madrid din.
Madrid that time. Aka akra bi ko mo boy classico.
And then girlfriend.
Oko vacation. Oko. Ye Madrid the film in the Champions League. Madrid and drew baby in the Copa del Rey. La Liga Barcelona chimu. Bibia there they say Barcelona share Madrid or classico no ma. Almost sure almost at the G League. Within that time no. Madrid supporters say niabre obi aniabre obi say why you French channel because you are fairly. Then you put yourself on the plate. Muntu chame.
Now then almost I'm guaranteeing leave the man.
Rich.
When we needed you.
Rich.
Results
Rich. If there is even crisis here, it will be difficult. Some because time or some person will live because of family. Or the man. And this question about timing and also in year. That is the reason why the moment the pictures Mr. say about one thing and conformity petition. Look at the number of and conform when your mom signs our petition. They say Kylian Mbappe come yan or Real Madrid be. The irony of Nkomoya Yedi say, Rich, this season, by far, Kylian Mbappe is Real Madrid best player. We shall run 41 goals in all competitions this season. For club and friend Real Madrid. Anytime we be at this season, Real Madrid were in a higher conversation. Yeah, it was because of Kylian Mbappe in the goals. But sometimes these small indiscretions, you know, and the timing, if you have the timing and rare idea, baby, no, and I could fast something in our break Kylian Mbappe. Now, look at Enra, the chaos eye by actually Ghana, your athletics competition, you cry. You penny or says, Beseo, Pono Modi repo votes, you know, athletes, you know, Obi and Fanny, my Yan, the Ma almost organizers, none other colleagues so can say there be Obi and then thereby. Look, Kylian Mbappe goes post match and says, oh, Abelo has some your fourth rank strikers, say. Ne strikers or what team no me toss of 4. Inti majatum intimate bench drum so no frame Mbappe. Then Abelowa also goes to post match and say, "Men can't check Kylian Mbappe say, me strikers or toss of 4. In fact, now me strikers say na me and Mbappe toss of 4. Who is speaking the truth? We don't know. But the fact of the matter, then they say there's a lot of pressure on Real Madrid this year. If we say a common, say Florentino Perez will book media interviews. No. Unless there's pressure. And there's a lot of pressure on him. Because at the end of the day, you know, Real Madrid supporters now start to raise issues. Say, look, your time go 2 seasons without a trophy. Say, to end there. Must we consider say Florentino Perez and Casano or Bafom in the way I will see Aaron Real Madrid and they are asking questions about the coaching decisions I want to take. Mamin Kasim Mincho. Unim say Real Madrid supporters was Spain. After the way almost season na corner. Not even after some more Xabi Alonso no. Still no more evidence say player power. Did team ninya. They will come back to say and it's not a problem ninya Xabi Alonso. But the problem why na my players in this up to me na. Omoye do mo pe bia or club and they will point fingers to Florentino Perez. Won nowadays some mantra about Galacticos. And I'm a place a lot of ego. And this Madrid got superstar maneba. Yamani seems on the god of the team. We your coach also bring once more players, you know. The players depend also on your normal couple on the mount. But in modern day football, you have to blend it and have the balance. Xabi also tried doing that. When Tinya survive it, and your core, you know, Bibian Chester Madrid without him. And they will point fingers back to the press. That is the reason why he is going around doing political interviews, trying to deflect attention on also probe the assembly question and a referees and away. Look, Anka Florentino Perez there. How big are we, you know? Anka, you don't see him crumble under pressure. But Rich, on Nimpefe say the standard now has set to Real Madrid now. It even applies to him, the El Presidento. And so while you say Now, in the next presidential election, they will vote him out. They will really vote him out. Minim what the decision on bringing Jose, how about Buano in the Madrid election. But Bibi, there is none competitor, and I say other candidate. I say, make any of Real Madrid candidates from over so must stand against Florentino Perez na unmasama kamaka cheni because on koka say a political campaign koka chen go for say Florentino Perez or the Jose baba o to abamo or the join club baba. You do whatever it takes to bring join club.
And a better man for you.
I'm telling you, say politics. Obana went to me, you are already in power. Me try
in so I just in club now. Now the Jose
the Madrid fans will vote for who says he will bring club. Yes, because they need a big revolution. With him. Fifi always says Madrid will play in Barcelona. I don't agree with him, but like a debate, a 50-50. What it means is that say Real Madrid enya a coach bia or yeah there is a Hansi Flick. Now obeti me I'm a players no a little bit of freedom, or show him a little bit of love, but he will still insist on organizational play, structure, and in normal tactically discipline. Is Madrid will be great. Okay. Today we need that bit no.
MFA. Team there. The moment I resolve them, and the queen, people will have raised issues of Inigo Martinez, why we allow him to go. People would have raised those issues. But the moment you have relative success, must have kata no man getting. Yan also na yan fefisem mamo. Anna Ghana and a 17 African Cup of Nations Koso or Morocco. You share journey no ase our group D. You know me from Algeria. I'm say North African team. You know mo and starting a journey no. Na ibadi ya starting game Ghana starting game ni pa. And 2 minutes. And I'm in 2 minutes. Na Ghana nya a first goal through Abrantia. Your friends say Jao Gavi Robino. Na Abrantia na first goal at the ama a Ghana. Black air starlet. Abrantia no. Anche adna Arante Eric Adujemfi, what a goal. Arante no so Algeria keeper no we pie kakra and Arante no ball no at the two ayenechi and nyamyenu no kwene Arante no goal na efe papa Emma Ghana eteki aye 2-0 leader. Ni efu sese de enema keka kono with the chance creation na yenya in the game no na bibia no towards Ghana say betimi a win game but and to be Kobasa and the second half, in fact, Algerians in the bar game numpa betekano Edmano a year 2-2 na Enra. I'm not sure I'm starting game the man at 17 Bobukuno at the man coach Prosper at Ogum a goalkeeper so Mukame Kese Michael Ajanyan Techi Isaac Buffo Eric Adujemfi nya go Mark Abwaje Majid Osman Isa Abdurrafiu Robino Jao Gabi onusuche go Mark Kagawa Mensa I saw a true coffee and Jacob a true coffee almost and a ranted bakwa and almost started game no edema court prosper na te ogum ne side under 17 Emma yene Algeria a ball a year 2-2 minim game no said na mi cheche no so first half now we started so well yenya go in term yesabenya another goal idea call 2-0 up. I feel her chances are now you creating na bibia chese say you take a chance maybe and get me call back 3 or 4 all of a sudden in the second half Algerians so bargain about titi a game no minimum say Ghana a tournament attack as him say yeah slow status they started game now say starting a boko but as time goes on competition no kwan no na ya chance ya modern mono because minimum say bia no bi na nra hu awo Morocco na I don't know.
Oh no, I think for me and coach Nate Prosper Ogum boys and mom manage game ni because to go up by 2-0 in the first half now you come back from the recess now for the Oba be conceded 2 goals. In fact for me after the first 2 goals I thought that was all. So when I decided to go back and follow the games, I say Algerians and Babetikan, I think we're more dominant in the first half. And in developmental football, one of these are some of the issues. I thought the biggest problem is about game management, and you learn them from here. Or decision making in Kakra, how you manage the game with injuries, with ball possession, with chance creation. Even times there's a go, times there's a for me, that is probably the only problem I'm hearing. And I put that on the doorstep of the coach. Also, born a boy and nice, the like of Kagawa born and also because the coach put them into very good structure. Maybe she gave me a boy and runner. The twins at the back, the midfield. In fact, team Nanyira Kitaninya look like a very well coordinated team. Organization is solid. All of the problem, in my opinion, comes down to the issue of game management from Prosper Natogum. Because if you look at the times you concede, the goals you concede, and it points to the fact that we had slight issues in terms of say a managing match, in itself. I don't think say it comes down to say you can't say you're from Ghana teams that you started slow in tournament. I think that is just going to be an excuse for dropping points. Okay. I think clearly we made some mistakes. It's something we bit may improve on as we go forward with the coming games now, and it would have been better in Kenya 3 points now.
Sure.
Then we go into the subsequent games now, more dominant enough, more confident, and then finish it off. But as that did not come, the display was solid, good goal. In fact, and I don't pay anytime after my phone be on CAF online, go on your share is all over the place. Region Figo is all over the place. Maybe I CAF for posting several. In fact, to see how good our game was, the CAF one also constantly posted Esau and Ninia Jacob. Constantly, they kept on posting them, how they were in tandem with their movements, any other day. It tells you how much of a good side here. But in the game in itself, I think we drop the points based on game management, and it's something that you bet me improve as we go forward.
It's about 3 points, In fact, Ogun team way, Sauti and Penufo, even Ghanaians, I'm follow under 17 pa. Almost this particular team, a team, or more. I mean, Vim Mumu say, I'm ranting with the coach of Mukutano. I'm ranting to a bit to me, the Akofa pa. And then I bought 2-2, those say, Lucy, but as a mama for a down, looking at the way it's starting game, share 2-0 in the second half. Algerians in a better cano. Going for the end of the day.
I'm not Ghana match in Mankobo.
Okay.
I sacrifice my training to watch the game. There will be a little bit liberal because I'm under 17 for I'm cry. And see, you expect them to make some mistakes. The only thing is that sometimes mistakes are too costly. Na ama some also but you have to be careful. Yesterday game ye papa, we played so well. The intensity super, structure no, and near Bob Bonnet said yeah, book move football. She said this is a well trained team.
Typical move football.
Now the name one say. Meet your commentator ne kase Algeria team na any boy. Almost all of them are playing in France, Strasbourg, Lorient. Just say French academies ahona almost omunyina bobo. And I'm able to say okay. These are players from Airborne, Benab, Atram Divisa. Ye course ye division 2 ye se ye tijina ne obia onyane entity from the French academies ne ye bobo no se ne ye bon ya rich Ghana ye football ye invest wo mu kakra bi na ye ye grassroots na we will be very, very, very forced to reckon with. Nyankopon talent or their chain, a massive.
In the first half, Algeria, they could feel they were inferior to us. Ye more than Chiomo, ye nim skill, ye was skills Chiomo, yet a born as a Chiomo, Bibiomo ye be a they could clearly say, still way, as a yenuman tem quite wa.
Now, then comes the typical Ghana football problem. One, mentality. Rich, Sankayen and Algeria, and Algeria, and in the first half, they will score us 4-5 and close the game. But we say typical Ghana street so bono, mumacha. So bobo na e famana na atone keche. Enti pass na so bone kakra bi kwa no chimni nan no yinani a famana. Enti you could see Kagawa Santemu ne Eric. Just say no man na afa do we man simple na the benefit efficiency. Ya papa ne do pom ni asa papa ne do pom ni asa. Then you could see say we ya see or say about highest level no. For me, the Ghanaian tendency in football realm, especially your ball 11 minutes near 2. 11 minutes near 2. And we thought we were home and dry. And go for the no but omunti be near bobono. And the typical Ghanaian subai medru the arcade ma me fanyi catch on go for omunti be near mo a setting in. Now Rich, because you ain't Kelly game no. You buy in the second half. There were few talking points. For me, I think Senna also had you for a red card. So I bench and start now Tia and Ubeji say referee go have VAR still and still came to say yellow card no the Ama Branton was okay. I was very disappointed in the of referee no. Ghana also the record no. Onu aso na ekote kanoma Algeria for no. Enti imagine say committee take the right decision eka ye be ko enimpa. Algeria for first goal no ete omo kabako first one no. The dummy was brutal. The awareness of branch no ehun say obi gire na chi. Enti all my ball na afana ne 9 term na a beat a different na ma Ghana pick ball no. Super, you can't blame the defenders. That was intelligence from the Algerians. The second goal Nehemia. Look, you're right back, Robo Liberty professional. So, I'm a captain. Or Ben and Nimon. But I think, say, Saturday, as I'm going to somewhere, because Rich, so Bobo watch it too. Obia better one, momentum one. And it's a we player, Saturday, you need to be more defensive minded than offensive minded. Or momentum. It is a yetimi a chance of crabby. A game now about 10 minutes can even with Algeria for dominating but in a very compact defensive shape. And like about 10 minutes we like a draw momentum nasia. Then we could have but that time no more momentum now. We lost our defensive shape. No more ball on to your right or where I can or chesty ball no yifa Liberty professionals right back and so and we nya ball or call or cross no first to the ball panai and on head the ball until within 3 minutes. Then Kofona to come about 2-2. We fought very hard saying Kebetmania winning goal. You try winning goal amba. You see, Rich, the target for this team and they say I qualify FIFA under 17 World Cup or Qatar. Say if that is the target there, then nothing is lost. Now we are forced to I was here winning next game, no. Now yes, your next results. And every team they are qualified from the group. Yeah, Chirape, the first round of games, he said we are one of the best teams at the tournament. And no man kitting, and we need to add the mentality, the efficiency, and it's no man kitting. But the team really impressed Obi Ohebia. Very disappointing in the results. But yeah, it was a very good start, and the potential in the team there. Know that Rich Senka, yeah, but to players a free tournament, yeah. Ghana players in Baby Ma. Bad form, very.
The guys are good. The guys are good.
Eric, Jemfi, 2024, or the cast edgy Milo games, Kumasi. He was one of their key players. I watch him. Tell me, when I'm a minimum. And I would say the player, I don't know. We were very proud to watch some of our Kumasi boys also do. We will wish them all the best in their next games.
Josh, young movie to Black Star Street. Na se de na hu no so be ha aman no dodo na shase e bi e na mi squad na o de kobo no ebi nso na emi provisional now her say be a later no obehwe na we be afim or putting it down at the main squad of the Beko the 2026 FIFA World Cup ebeko so our US, Canada and then Mexico. Now Ghana yedi tetisa Carlos Creas bia and then Friday say ochina ana latest Monday day kodie likely on also the provisional squad beba na yehum rantia omo enso betimi akwako chinem at the Black Stars of Ghana bra World Cup no ebetimi akoso awo US. What expectations you saying? What are you expecting?
Yeah, I think the biggest one so far Air France for the round the two.
Did they do something? No?
Yeah, and you can see that a lot of teams are preparing. In fact, I saw a graphic beer data. Teams never release your more squad. No, I've seen a number of them. So from now till May, and we'll hear of a lot more teams releasing their squad list. I think the first thing I would want to say concerning Black Stars for expectations for the squad, and say the team that has been announced for a game against Mexico,
friendly game.
I wouldn't be shocked that every single player on that list is part of the 55. Say the 55 provisional, 55 provisional. Then they will trim it down to 23 or 24. Is it 23 or 24?
26.
26. Sorry, 26. I expect say all the players on that list would be on Air 55 no, but the question would then be who are then going to be the remaining players, because omona expectation say they will be the main guys. Game na Ekobo against Mexico no, most of them are either local players, that's 6 of them, and then we have a lot of other players. There were a lot of some of them, there were controversies on them as to whether they will play the Black Stars or not, and the binomuso players that they haven't played in a while and they are coming back. Even Safina Jan Mo, we are seeing a return of Majida Shimeru Muno. But Rich, one of the biggest things that I want Carlos Queiroz, and I really don't know, is that they shouldn't kowtow to a lot of things that people are putting out there about the inclusion of players. The reason why they are calling for them to be included is that they would help the team in a certain way in terms of motivation.
Okay, I mean, see, the story be say Kebeya Yemfa de Ayu,
Andrea
Yemfa World Cup be.
Yeah,
the Carlos Queiroz I know will never ever kowtow to Sani Manimano.
But
you will never do that.
That's another big question. Good.
And you'll be asking about
the reason why I'm saying this is because you see, the kind of environment in which we live in is highly polarized with politics. And when we have influential people in certain authorities in this country come to say some of these things, it echoes in the ears of decision makers to look at various angles of the reasons why Ayeka Sayen Freeway and Manunkobobi. I get the fact that somebody would have said, yes, Andre is a very influential figure when he's in the team. He has a certain influence on the team and all of that. But we want to play a World Cup where repeatedly I've said, we are not just going to perform and then at the end of the day, wherever we reach and we exit, we will come and say to ourselves, yeah, World Cup. But we want to also project our plans for the future. Carlos Queiroz is just here for 4 months. Ain't Rich, let's assume that the 4 months he's supposed to or he's expected to help Ghana put up a good or impressive performance at the World Cup. And then after that, they would assess whether he's fit enough to carry the Black Stars team forward. But let's look at the playing that we want to play in terms of the performance on the pitch. Yeah, well, AFCON qualifiers to play 2027. We have an AFCON in 2027 as well. Let us prepare ourselves for that. For which reason, there are a number of players whose inclusion in the team may not work well for the team moving forward. Because age has caught up with them, number one. Number two, we have so many young talents who are coming up. We need to give them a chance to play in the Black Stars.
And it's the age that catching over to my result. Because we've seen, and I say a tournament, countries with the players are Abba, performance, a man team no air result, and our country no result. It is a, for example,
Yeah.
You said they did DNA, say the MTO for baby, Obi a Kawasem. Sir Carlos creates a few say, look, the day are you when you need, and I said the age in the Costro. But then me sha Branteno, me feel say Bibi would move at the co walk up, obey to me, dear Buagana. I don't think so about any age in 20.
But there will be a counter argument that there are so many other youngsters who are capable of giving us more than what he and I is
so
giving.
or no the coach.
Okay.
Like you said, all can a man a task and a target. Target if you said the day you bet me a man that target. Also on drop your brand and cover young player because your team na fair near building and the no. So man result never call. That is why I'm saying that. Some discussions no. More because me I know as a country or the day you be walk up. A bit based on merit.
Yes.
So if you say Brandon or no walk up no man result or never call. So of you so the no man result and the team no and now the game plan or the call air walk up no ain't suit your Brandon on hand umpo. He win there.
That is why I'm saying that the expectation from Ghanaians will be that he will not kowtow to what is being said in the corridors of power. Say Yemfa, Andre, or any other player. Yemfa Nanka team no to go and play in the ball. So that's number one. The second thing I would want to say and say, also there was quite a controversial inclusion in the Galaxy's full team, no, which was in the goalkeeping department.
Yeah.
And then later there was a replacement, Omodi Benjamin Asari, Ebeka team for the game against Mexico, and it brought up a number of questions. Say, why are we including a player who is number one, a local player, which is good, but a player where or who we would say in the list of local team, list of local teams are goalkeepers. He is not include. He is not one of them.
Based on numbers. Why then do we add that person and then subsequently take that name out when a couple of concerns were being raised? Sanyemano, it brings a lot of controversies in the atmosphere about interference in squad selection. Like I've said, this team that the Galaxies are putting up for the game against Mexico, I expect all of them to be part of the 55. But when it comes down to the final selection, a lot will be dependent on Carlos Queiroz and Ejuma Omoaye so far. Last week he put out a statement about Ejuma Omoaye, the number of videos that they have watched, and how he intends to collaborate with the technical team to put the list together. I think he's on the right track. Okay.
And I really hope that by the time the squad list of Ghana comes out, we will not have so many questions to ask.
Okay.
Because of the number of things that we have said about squad releases in the last few weeks.
All right. Ravi, Brahma, your expectations ahead of provisional list are here and say a bit to me about NBA lines now.
Expectations.
Yeah. Then I will share them.
I don't really have any, honestly. Me change provisional list with an open mind.
Okay.
When it comes, I'll do the analysis of the score. Then
no problem.
Try to get into the mind of Coach Carlos Queiroz, into all these other players now. But as it stands now, I would want to wait till the day comes.
No problem.
Meeting a proper analysis of the score and how it comes in.
Then I will hear. Listen, I heard from now next week.
First of all, even countries normally announce publicly 26 in the straight, still have a provisional squad.
Okay.
Because per the FIFA rules, so one provided provisional squad of up to 55. Then it means that 26, you are risking say BB 2 more, you can't replace. It is out of the provisional squad. And I say BB 2 or standard squad of 26 now obetimi akwakofa ebima film now the achievements. Even countries like France, Japan go straight ahead with 26, Brazil money I don't know. Still
stand by.
Provided FIFA with a long 55 list that say maybe to any of the players in injury and whatever or metimi akomu no makofa ba. Me expectations how difficult it will be for Carlos Queiroz to make in the squad. Number one, since our buy ABC and I was collaborating with all the medical team of players now or more injury listeners to know for sure the timelines of time on Beba and whether it will be prudent someone for to listen so and some follow a man for to listen so. Sad in papa until he has to call the Tottenham Hotspur medical team and ask, say, could the situation at the same? Or your brantia obetimiako walk up nibi. And should I risk putting his name in the list? And I say, Memphis slot in the man will be for. At least, ye Nijian say, for being some most Salisukrade was starting a year training or boss in the Biantino. Or no bang, so you bet me a risk, so wampa. Or by your fate, you bet to be nako, and it's near my same. On the quarter was starting air bomb matches in Tino. For ye what some injury concerns, no. You will have to find out whether those players ebetimi akọ walk up na so muntimi nko. Number 2. Carlos Queiroz by no. On Timimbo even a single game as the coach of the Blasters, but I was royalist.
Because Mexico game no cry, you never bought.
Yes. Anyone never bought.
You can say affair never bought that game.
The first match at Carlos Queiroz will be on the 2nd of June. Our Cardiff against Wolves. And we are so by that time. Now let's know the Abba. And would you just imagine how can a coach make a list? Our they go walk up. Abra on for team number 1 game. That is how difficult Nejumat aye. And
so the call of the team there.
Call by who?
Players
your call may not be my call. Obi depending on power friend star player in the eyes of Carlos Queiroz, any day we person no man will not even be part of his plans. Sanko nyanya eti enka matches obebo and ebe kire say the way of person change no man no ebe fa na say emfa but oni sa luxury no adwuma na Carlos Queiroz akofa no edin dodo
so no aka
edin too much
experience as a coach.
Adding too much.
40 years
adding too much. Now you see, I agree when people say time na de kofano. The duration of his contracts and a target near the amano. Rich, it forces him to rely on only players that can give him instant results. Enti Ghana squad ne bebano. I am not expecting a lot of surprises. Say you introduce young players here, we will be looking up to them in the future. He doesn't have that luxury. Or short time, the tournament is just around the corner, and on certain team environment, and the target is big. And you know, say obi to say Abdulaziz, David Odro, Gariba. Those young players now, you nim say in the near future, we don't be taking the Blasters by storm. And ideally, there must be a portion of your squad now giving those players their exposure at the World Cup. And we are near Yanisa. Rich, we are in a very, very complicated situation with the Blasters. Ejumane doing too much. And the squad now, at least it will give a hint of the intentions. The way of person crying, no, but Sunday Okano. Well, here because of the situation of women, then he may have to rely on those who are already there. You may have to rely on those who are already there. Say Nancy, for the graphic be by from the communications team in terms of more communication with him. When I'm more the dancers say more a vigorous job on in the backroom staff, looking at all the data available, profiling the players individually to get to know. Look. There's a difference between Rich. Unim say Rich a koko. Ono onye titia onye tintin. Ono nentare shemu say no peno, say na fashion life tie, say na busia tie, say na suban tie. If I write a recommendation and I say me provide a list of it. Na say me ka say me original list na so say me ka fatulo say me be say me hu Rich and to give me my many suban on paper. It is different from when I experience you personally. And football career, the difference is big. Rich, the profile of the player, the statistics, different from when you bring him to camp yourself. Assess him practically our camp on Unia oh man instructions. I want you to do this on the pitch. What about me? I answer want to mean yet. You don't have his job at all.
And Unia Benjamin Sano you got.
Oh, you got
and then the wife birthday.
Okay.
Nah, on your lucky. The wife to baby on the wife for London.
Okay.
Your friend Mrs. Any bro be boating.
Okay.
Baby girl pa and then the birthday. Now I say osro menji permission in few. Ni enfa we fi de kesi en wishing a year awodapa.
Amen.
Nyaminya na dom. Na media me so omo benten ho by mama pa.
Okay.
Because you're a bad man.
Yes.
It's my lucky. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Nyamichano.
To Madam Eniwa. I'm the wife of Benten CEO Sano Yugo.
Okay. 03220 83581 83582 83583. Pamcho, yeah, from a course no. Hello. Sorry. Hello. Ebony.
Richardo.
I saw it in Ebony Pacho with you.
Champion man, Richardo, Uko, Abutreba, Upo Super. Oh, come on.
I with you.
Dressing the Obwakra. Number that only Black Sharif, this house one time. That is our love on a cost of.
With you.
In fact, you might tell me before I said, my boy, what the back here is what's up and says mine. I was what's up. Now, I said, never buy Yala, and I said, maybe my Yana, some more family, I like I saw, can you say, I from a blaster coach, you know, the human head, and the head, and the dinner, all my one, 2 months, you know, Edeno. And I'm more, I bambi for a ring, I do with me, and I'm more, I pay a Yabasona for a penny and about
Nase one to answer me.
And yeah, my bed is a move.
Hello, Naskala.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
About watching in the fire, Sanso.
About you, me too.
The Americans are going to papa. Put your so far and come up, papa, wake up in you. Then the people we are. Now, a black, a matty, a cocoa, Yamoy. And what is one name of players on Gomoko? And the end is serious, and your medical one go, the make up of Bobo Cotocone has here, Diet here from players and Omako. Because you are more much near who plays here, that will be a one Matthew.
Mate, by all games, Bobo Wolves, I understand some America cry. Almost 1 or 2 friendly games on Bobo and Sana. You bought your first game. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Robert Tini.
Robert, looking brother. I put that to the 2 big round of
okay, me too.
Now, Papa, Professor, TV Jantua, the baby Amichano. Now, I can't make any answer. Rick, the person says, the way a man, a kind of coach. Yes, if a place, the Pajo Wadaruma. What did they tell you, Papa?
That's some head there. You say me feel so of fitting to my team. I didn't know I'm go.
And you are in the plan, young and Wadana, Rich. Did you? So I am real. And just a person they do. And she said, how did they do? I'll bet like they never see up a band and Jimmy Zubra. Oh, every time I'm over to play, near first place, the Romoka. The Poprana, on the park line and Chamba Gutra. Let's leave it to me, I know. Next season, we'll let you know, Marco. Did you wouldn't the Popra, next season, let me put you. Until they did it. Why am I? The money takes us up for you, Bossa. Uncle Coach,
that's a pie for last caller. Nature Wamba. Hello. Emos.
Exercise for that. Effort about the Papa, it's a it's some Papa communication organizer. Oh, mention of Namika Mummy. No, Papa, wake up with you. Ghana, you nearly that one. And tell me, Kakotia, what they want to local players, you know. Not one double gets me now, no for local players in Kobo, because you know the other Kofa. Because Ghana, Yako boy, and that should be any said. Ghana, and the Arabian show, such a become Ghana, but qualify, I'll do wake up. And that's only, and 12 local players, you know, she can be able to make Ghana in some.
Okay, yeah, that's a pan. man from twa me homra so me twa me wa basisi na ebeto aso dia mamisha wazo
Coach Nate Prosper Gum boys and mama manage game ni because to go up by 2-0 in the first half now you come back from the recess now for the Oba be conceded 2 goals. In fact, for me, after the first 2 goals, I thought that was all. So when I decided to go back and follow the games, I say Algerians and Babetikan, I think we're more dominant in the first half. And in developmental football, one of these are some of the issues. I thought the biggest problem is about game management, and you learn them from here. Or decision making in Kakra, how you manage the game with injuries, with ball possession, with chance creation. Even times there's a go, times there's a for me, that is probably the only problem I'm hearing. And I put that on the doorstep of the coach. Also, born a boy and a nice, the like of Kagawa Mobon, and also because the coach put them into very good structure. Maybe she gave me a boy and runner. The twins at the back, the midfield. In fact, Team Nanyira Kitaninya look like a very well coordinated team. Organization is solid. All of the problem, in my opinion, comes down to the issue of game management from Prosper Natogum. Because if you look at the times you concede, the goals you concede, and it points to the fact that we had slight issues in terms of say a managing match, in itself. I don't think it comes down to say you can't say you're from Ghana teams that you started slow in tournament. I think that is just going to be an excuse for dropping points. Okay. I think clearly we made some mistakes. It's something we bit may improve on as we go forward with the coming games now, and it would have been better in Kenya 3 points now. Then we go into the subsequent games now, more dominant enough, more confident, and then finish it off. But as that did not come, the display was solid, good goal. In fact, and I don't pay anytime after my phone be on CAF online, go on your share is all over the place. Region Figo is all over the place. Maybe I'm CAF for posting several. In fact, to see how good our game was, the CAF one also constantly posted Esau and Nhyira Jacob. Constantly, they kept on posting them, how they were in tandem with their movements, any other day. It tells you how much of a good side here. But in the game in itself, I think we.
Amamo.
And come for seminar lax Emma Busia Bia, lax a Busia seminar. A seminar a dear Jarry frame Santini, a Coswa Eddie Jarry. A seminar a ye bacteria, any fungi, any more away on one many, if fear her, na a may and we sham, na a boy near Busia ho bine. A seminar a man cry a corn dog, say or mobile no macaco jarry. A seminar say we to more, we a cocoa, we a chocolate, whatever color or skin no a no udi jarry, a bow skin no. Ama de bone friend radiant and my skin no eyi na toso kama na sham enti ama ofie ho nyina no ho hwehwe sham odi dware wi a o feel fresh after say odi lax semina etimi edware emma obia etimi edi lax semina edware semina papa enti me so say o ko dwama so no akopɛ semina ene obusia akoyusu na modi akodware a na wato lax a efiji liver international for no eho ebi bebia yeton semina bia ukwa lax semina no eho ho na omo varieties be flavors a de aba ni nyina sham ni nyina ba adwuma na ni nyina so obedi ho adanse ti bebia yeton semina bia ukwa wonsa ebetimi akabi na mum sa opere dodo na wato anasa watu akwakoton dia na wafre prince e was 0240 219191 0240 219191 say ope deodorant e kama you see deodorant 72 hours na e bon ho ban efimfifiri ho deodorant wo de gu ho a e ma ho ye sham na ofele confident and fresh for 3 solid days deodorant wo de gu ho obi ababu say perfume be e na de gu ho na so na nya perfume na e deodorant obi agiatum na sponsor a lot of sporting activities mano enya Rexona 72 hours are you in liver for a day abanibi the number 1 deodorant it is a deodorant nkwana ope use dia na wato Rexona 72 hours no enso so ebi na wa use baby eton deodorant bia provision shop supermarket okomo baby eton deodorant bia cosmetic shops no okwa obenya Rexona 72 hours deodorant ni bi na watimi ato say ope do ato oko beauty glow ho ɛwɔ Adum PZ Ebeya Sempa Pharmacy no Oko Kegetia gate number 1549 Iben Police Station no Oko Kegetia opposite gate 8 sa building na CBG womna Beauty Glow ebema bebre ato Oko Adum so Mrs. Anoche Plaza opposite boss of Daddy Ash ebema obi na wetimi ato ntimi say deodorant na opa no na Rexona almost 72 hours nibi say seminar so dia na wato lax ni nyina efiri liver no ma papa fie eho na ede ebre
yene asore na ko fadum kase no dia mamo na yenye birthday miensen na yensore first one kodi ama Ishmael Brenya enipa dodo na efe no Ishmael akosua Brenya ivado e bemba dia but almost so ba na emi akasa me chairman Jerry ni nua pani na any Ishmael Brenya Ishmael baby a obi ana happy birthday to you from unya nomne namfo ni nyina no say yam show awoda panyami show na onya okesepa second one yene ankasa nua parking New York US abuchimemo say yam say ne wife Dina Awuku New York happy birthday Mrs. baby a obi ana nyami show no onya okese from ukunu ene nkwada ni nyina na abusua o Ghana yam show happy birthday adna minko aye UK na meweshi aye nana ama jomo niako happy birthday ono so our United Kingdom UK ona nana ama enso nana baby obi an happy birthday to you yami show pa na onya okese de do akoma so nyina nyankopon enye emfa emma from o parent and our siblings are so awo aye Ghana ha and afi Jarvis Opoku Atman also your birthday from Yaniankasenia Jeff or senior show happy birthday Jarvis Opoku Ajman. Therefore, Yedemosia Adom Kasie and to Asunyami Adoma Yabasai and Nemo Asia Yakram.